GPTV presents the 2003 GHSA Football Semifinals. Funding for this program is provided in part by Georgia's Electric Membership Corporations, IBEW Local 613, South Trust Bank, Kroger, your Dodge Dealers of Georgia, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and by State Farm.
Live from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, it's time for some high school football. Today it's the Decatur Bulldogs taking on the Buford Wolves in our second AA final and 7 out of 10 games right here on GPTV. Dave Garner, along with former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket and Detroit Lion Ryan Stewart. And Ryan, a pleasure to be working with you today. And tell you what, yesterday we saw some great athletes in that first AA semifinal. Today we're going to see even more, beginning with Decatur.
Two undefeated teams out here this Saturday afternoon. We're looking forward to it. Both teams predominantly run the ball, but we do have a good passer when it comes to the Decatur Bulldogs. That's going to be behind the arm of Ellis George, a very good quarterback that can scramble. But when it comes to passing, he's hit 17 TDs, only 5 interceptions, thrown for right under 2,000 yards, and he's a quarterback to be reckoned with in this league. Well, when you get to the run, you know you have to look to number 2, Johnny Hambrick. Not often at any level, college, high school, or pro, do you see a running back with 2,000 yards, but Johnny Hambrick does have 2,000 yards, looking to get over that well today.
We caught up with first-year head coach Steve Davenport to get his thoughts on today's matchup against Buford.
Well, we're going to try to be aggressive. That's the thing that Decatur has led to Decatur's success so far this year. We've been aggressive on both offense and defensive sides of the ball. Offensively, we're going to try to take advantage of what the opposition is giving us. If they're trying to stop the run with a lot of people in the box, then we're going to try to throw against them. If they choose to drop people back in the secondary, then we're going to try to run it. I think it's just a situation where we'll see when we get there. We've practiced and prepared all year for either one. So if it's a running game, it's because Buford's trying to stop the pass. If it's a passing game for us, it's because they're trying to stop the run. Defensively, we feel we've got to stop Mr. Walker. I got a lot of respect for him and the accomplishments he has. So we feel like if we can stop Mr. Walker, or at the very least slow him down, then we can force Buford into doing something that maybe they're uncomfortable doing.
Now, Buford has been dubbed the Parkview of AA, but Buford's won 43 in a row, and Parkview's not here this weekend. I think Buford's made a pretty good name for themselves.
Trying to get their 3rd straight championship, and you heard Coach Davenport say it just now, they're going to have to stop Mr. Walker, and Mr's exactly what you got to call this guy. He's rushing for right around under 2,000 yards, 1,871 yards, right under 2 yards per carry. He's got 40 TDs, and he's about to break a record for that school, and 85 rushing TDs in his career, right over 55,000 yards on the ground. So he's a very good running back to be reckoned with. And when it comes to defense, they're going to be behind number 64, Neil Brown. He's a 3-year starter. 30 D1 offers when it comes to playing football after college. He's a good guy on defense to be watching this afternoon.
Dexter Wood, his 9th season. We also sat down with him to get his thoughts on today's matchup.
Well, the priority for us starts with our defense and being able to stop the run. We have a good defensive front, and we feel like if we can force a team into doing something they don't want to do, which is pass the ball, although I know Decatur can throw it at times well, it's just our philosophy to do that. And then when you turn around on offense, it's the same thing. We got to try to establish the run. As you know, we've got a great tailback, and we believe we try to establish the line of scrimmage with our offensive line. I do feel like we're fully dimensional, and I feel like with our quarterback and receivers we can throw at times, but obviously success for us means being able to run the football on offense.
Let's go ahead and meet the 3rd member of our broadcast team here today. It's Mr. David Zelski, and once again he's standing by on the sideline. David, what's going on?
Thanks a lot, Dave. You know, I also had a chance to talk with Buford coach Dexter Wood about this winning streak, and he said he and his players are just going to try to ignore it and focus strictly on Decatur. You know, he says you can't look at the Decatur teams of old, you can't study them that way. You got to look at this undefeated squad who seems to have a knack for finding their opponent's weaknesses and capitalizing on those mistakes. Back up to you, Dave.
All right, there you have it. Thanks a lot, David. We're going to be looking forward to throwing it down to you today. Ryan, looking for a very physical football game, and a lot of people feel like it's going to be Decatur's front four on defense against Buford's offensive line. Can they open up the holes for Darius Walker? It's going to be one matchup today to watch out for.
Two undefeated teams, and you're exactly right, Dave. Whoever wins the trenches in the battle, offensive line, defensive line matchups, that's who will probably win this ball game this afternoon.
Daniel Buford, 43 wins in a row. They are carrying the torch for Gwinnett County in these playoffs. Again, Parkview, Brookwood, all the teams going home, so it should be fun. Again, coming up right here on GPTV, it's the second AA semifinal. Buford and Decatur going at it. We'll have the kickoff for you right after this. A pair of 13-0 teams squaring off this afternoon in the Georgia Dome. Once again, Dave Garner, Ryan Stewart with you. David Zelski on the sideline with us. 13-0 Decatur Bulldogs taking on the 13-0 Buford Wolves. As you get a look at the Buford cheerleaders who have made the trip over today from Gwinnett County. Captains meeting at midfield, and of course, both of these teams coming in here undefeated, and a much different Decatur team that we saw from last year, Ryan. 4-6 during the regular season. I tell you what, Coach Davenport, he has my vote for Coach of the Year.
Coach Davenport has done a wonderful job. He was, a lot of people forget, and he was the Southwest DeKalb offensive coordinator when they went to the national championship, I believe, in 1995. So this guy knows offense. This guy knows football. Played at Georgia Tech, 4-year letterman. He's an incredible coach.
Of course, Dexter Wood, a product of the University of Alabama, Coach of the Year in 94, 2001, and 2002. His ninth season at Buford. He had a stint at Marietta as well, and has done an excellent job with this Buford program. Of course, there you get a look at some of the Wolves huddled on the sideline here. Some final thoughts heading into kickoff, and I'm excited about this one right here, Ryan. I tell you what, a lot of people have called this the University of Buford. I mean, that's exactly how much success they've had and how strong they are coming into this football game. But I'm also excited to see Decatur winning the coin toss, deferring the football. Buford will receive the ball, so we'll see that powerful offense right off the bat.
Yeah, Coach Wood looking for his 43rd win, trying to get that third straight championship. He's played some incredible football. Both of these teams have great players that's going to move on and be playing football on Saturdays at the college level. So let's just look forward to seeing them this afternoon. You
know, we talk about the Wolves' offense, but defensively, they've got 5 season shutouts, 5 regular season shutouts. Their defense is also focused, and here come the Decatur Bulldogs, 13-0 out of Region 5. Steve Davenport in his first season, and here come the Buford Wolves through the banner as we get set for kickoff. Again, both teams at 13-0. The winner will play Charlton County next week for the AA State Championship. Of course, Charlton with the victory yesterday over Vidalia, and a very good football game. Charlton made the plays when they had to. We saw some good athletes in that game today, and as we said up top, some great athletes in this one.
When it comes to Decatur as well as Buford, these teams are undefeated, as we've mentioned a few times already, but they don't know what losing is like. So somebody at the end of this game is going to be very upset, a little sad, but there's going to be a winner, and that team's going to go on and be undefeated.
Regular season, Decatur, there you get a look at their numbers. Rushing yards, well over 3,046 touchdowns. They can also throw the football. Ellis George over 1,800 yards passing, 17 touchdowns. Defensively, they've also scored 3 times as well. 2 very good defenses in the house today.
2 very good defenses. That's going to mean a lot of takeaways. Both of these teams are going to try to establish the run and keep the ball on the ground where it's safest. But when it goes to the air, Ellis George, like you mentioned, is a guy that has a lot of success throwing the football.
We're going to look at the Wolves sideline. Again, only 2 regular season losses in the last 5 years, both to Commerce. Their last loss, of course, in the 2000 state championship, and they're going to look at their numbers. Again, over 3,000 yards, 55 touchdowns. Walker, a big part of that. And Manley, the quarterback, doesn't have to do a whole lot except hand off left and right, but he's still thrown over 1,000 yards as well.
He still throws over 1,000 yards. And one thing about both of these quarterbacks when it comes to the passing game, they don't make mistakes. They don't make error. They play error-free football when it comes to passing the ball, and that's why they establish the run. But I'm looking forward to this ball game, Dave.
Brian Simonson set to kick off for Decatur. Masharn, Austin, and Darius Walker back deep for Buford. Glad you could join us right here on GPTV, and we are underway. AA semifinal action. Austin back there, but the kick goes through the end zone, and Simonson with a powerful leg. I'll tell you what, we're going to have fun watching him here today. He's got a 3.1 GPA, and he's also a soccer player. But right now, it's that Buford offense who takes the field, led by that tailback, Darius Walker.
Darius Walker right under 2,000 yards coming into this ball game, and like I mentioned in the open, you don't see guys at any level rush for more than 2,000 yards, and he's a very good running back that runs between the tackles, but he does have the speed to get to the outside.
Kyle Manley, you saw his numbers right there as he steps up to the line to lead this offense. 1st and 10, ball at the 20. They shift an eye with a man in motion. And the give is to Walker straight up the middle. He's got some room there, but quickly closed down in a hurry, gain of about 3 yards, though. Quincy Kelly on the stop for Decatur. And here's the offense for Buford. Brown, Singleton are the tackles. Lord and Owens are the guards. And White is the center. A very good offensive line right there. And you get a look at the backfield. Walker's the tailback. Zach Smith's the fullback. Clark and Wood are the wideouts. And Merrow's the big tight end. Ryan Wood, of course, the coach's son for Buford. 2nd down and about 8. Walker in the backfield. Quick toss sweep there. 25. He's got the 30 and pushed out of bounds up at the 31, but it should be enough for a 1st down. Jamal Gordon and Andrew Kelly combining for the stop.
I mentioned Walker being a very good runner between the tackles, but he does have the speed to get to the outside, especially when they've got good blocking on the edges. So let's watch Walker to have a big day this afternoon.
Walker, of course, the Georgia Gatorade High School Player of the Year and 1 touchdown shy of tying Herschel Walker for the all-time touchdown lead, him and Charles Grant. Of course, Grant in 97 with the record, 44 touchdowns, 1 more. We'll put him right there. 1st down and 10, misdirection, and this time Walker hit right at the line, and a big play there defensively by number 58 for Decatur, Jamal Cobb.
Jamal Cobb did a good job of reading the play, getting rid of the blockers, and coming up to head him up.
Defensively, Rivers, Smith, Moon, and Wright across the front, and they are big. The linebackers, Quincy Kelly, Jamal Salim, and Jamal Gordon. And in the secondary, you've got Bell and Mitchell at the corners, along with Kelly and Fleming at the safeties. 2nd down and 11 after a loss of a yard on that last play. Decatur with 6-7 guys on the line defensively. High formation, Manley looking to throw downfield, has a man there, and it's complete to Merrow, the tight end, across midfield at the 49.
Regular I formation out there, and they motion to slide over. And one thing about Buford, when they realize that Walker's not going to get the ball, they're going to find themselves looking around to see what's going to happen, but they've got a good quarterback here that can throw the ball in Ellis, so that was a good completion just now.
Merrow with a 20-yard reception right there, wide open across midfield. And Merrow really known more for his defensive play at the end spot there, but also making some big plays on offense all year long. So 1st down and 10, ball just into Decatur territory. Wood in motion up top. And this time the give is straightforward. That's number 9 for the Buford Wolves there, the fullback, with the first carry of the ball game.
Blake Skipper's the fullback here, and he gets the dive play right here. You don't see the fullbacks get the ball that often in high school football, but he may get it a little bit more because that's a good 2 or 3 yard gain, and that's all you can ask for out of a fullback.
2nd down at about 7 after the gain of 3. Twins left. Once again, that I formation. Manley under center. And this time, once again, a little toss sweep there. And drives it down to the 41, does Darius Walker. For Decatur, this is a team, Ryan, that was picked to finish 5th in Region 5 AA out of 6 teams. Unbelievable, the turnaround that these guys have put together in 03. There are some pads popping out there today. I know as a safety, you can appreciate coming up there and making some licks.
You got to love it, man. You get the blind side guys and all kind of good stuff like that.
3rd down and 2 right here, and Walker is hit and dropped for no gain. May have lost a yard. And what a job by that Decatur defense up front.
Very good job by the Decatur defense. It's 3rd and short. You would think that they would run between the tackle play, but they try to get it to the outside, and the speed of the defensive line from Decatur stretched the field out that forced the guy to make the play. Good job.
Dwayne Smith down on this Georgia Dome turf at the 45. A little shaken up after the play there. You get a look at Smith. Hopefully nothing too serious right here. Again, there is a little bit of history Ryan, between these two teams. Last year, despite going 4-6, Decatur was still able to qualify for that fourth and final playoff spot out of Region 5. They actually met Buford in the first round, but it was the Wolves 41-0 in that game, although this is a very different Decatur team.
I was just about to say that, Dave. This team here has grown and learned from last year's experiences, and behind head coach Stephen Davenport, this team has learned, and they're more confident in their ability now. That's why they come into this ball game undefeated.
You see the tail end of that play there and the injury by Smith, but he is up and coming off the field on his own power, so that's certainly a good sign for the Bulldogs here in the early going. 4th down and 3. Coach Davenport.
This is a big time game, Dave. These guys, they could play with a broken leg right now if you ask them to. They're really into this ball game. Everybody's excited. This is a wonderful opportunity for the Decatur Ball Club, and they're looking forward to giving the best game that they can to this Buford football team.
And you saw Coach Davenport, his first season, he came on in the spring with this football program, 13-0 his first year, and it looks like we've got some movement up front, perhaps on the Bulldogs, and that might give Buford a first down here. I don't know.
First flag of this afternoon's ball game.
Got a dead ball. False start on the green.
Oh, on the offense. So this one's going on Buford, so it'll back it up even further. Jimmy Hopkins, our referee today. These officials have done a great job here at the Georgia Dome this weekend, and they had their hands full yesterday. In that first AA contest, a lot of penalty flags, well over a dozen. They're going to look at the officials from the Northwest Georgia Football Association. Jimmy Hopkins, again, our referee. The umpire is Haywood Patton. Linesman is James Arnold. The line judge is Randy Allen. The back judge is Bobby Greer, the field judge for the officials there. And it looks like we've got a timeout on the field.
Might just be me, but these kids to be in high school are rather big in size, okay? Not just the linemen, I'm talking about the special teams and the skill players as well.
Especially for a AA school.
Right.
They've got a lot of size. You typically don't see that with a lot of these single A and AA schools. Coach Wood on the Buford sideline rallying his guys together here. It's going to be 4th down and 9 after this timeout.
Is that a wolf or a mule?
Yeah, exactly. Mark your calendar for Friday night, January 30th, for the return of Georgia's longest-running high school sports and academics program, Prep Sports Plus. You'll meet some of Georgia's most successful student-athletes, athletic programs, and much more. Again, Prep Sports Plus coming back on January 30th. High kick, but fairly short. That was Patrick McGlon, who handles both the punting and place-kicking duties for Buford. And the ball will come down right at the 31. So Decatur's defense does the job. Walker got a few yards on that opening drive into Bulldog territory, but now we'll get our first look at that Decatur offense. Ellis George, there's his numbers. 78-160, over 1,800 yards, 17 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions. The senior having a big season.
Big season. He's a guy that has the ability to scramble if no one's out there in the passing game, but look for a heavy dose of Johnny Hambrick because he's a guy that totes the rock very well.
Right now, an empty backfield. Decatur comes out with 4 wide, twins left and right. And George looking to throw on the Dogs' first play, going to run the football, throws, it's got a man, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by the Wolves, number 19, Sean Williams.
Very good defensive play by the defensive end. He's got hands like a cornerback out there. But Sean Williams read the play. It's a very good job by the Buford defense because there was no one in coverage that was uncovered. All the receivers had someone on them, a body on a body, and the defensive end made a very good play, stretching Ellis out, makes a good job with the interception.
And Williams typically lines up as a defensive end. So Buford showing early on they're willing to drop anybody into coverage.
And that's what you're going to have to do if they come out in 5 wides. You got 2 splits on both sides and a tight end. You got to drop someone.
So Buford back on offense, I formation. And this time a little reverse right there, a little fake. That's going to Marshard Austin. He's got room. 20, 15, makes a move at the 10-5. Touchdown, Austin. Marshard Austin with a big play, and the Wolves strike very quickly. 38 yards on the run for Austin, and the Wolves are on the board.
Well-designed reverse. The Bulldogs were not looking for it. They fell with the fake, and a very good job by the offensive line to hold their blocks. And like you mentioned just now, When Austin got outside, he was determined to get to the end zone, made a good break inside to beat a defender. Touchdown, 6 points on the board for the Wolves.
And Patrick McGlone adds the PAT. So with 8:04 here in the opening quarter, Austin and the Wolves are fired up. They lead it 7-0 over the Decatur Bulldogs. And here's another look at it right here.
Fake the dive, and a wonderful job by the quarterback playing with the fake like he did not really have the ball. A good job by Austin using his speed to get to the outside, and also a good job by Buford setting up the blocks down the field to make him get all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, you know, you've got to respect Walker anytime he's in the football game, and that's exactly what Decatur did there, but it left a big hole outside there, and a good move right there, too, by Austin to get on into the end zone there. Scoring drive, one play. All it took, 38 yards and just 12 seconds off the clock, and again, that 38-yard touchdown run, and everyone's fired up on that Buford sideline.
That's real good for Coach Wood and the Wolves, because you stall on your first offensive series, but your defense comes out, they play very hard and get a turnover on the first play, and on the next play, you come back and put points on the board. That's the way to start a good big-time ball game.
You know, last year was supposed to be a rebuilding year for this Buford Wolf football team, but they won the state championship. I'd hate to see what would happen if they were supposed to be good.
I got you rebuilding right here. This is a very polished football team.
Exactly. Well, McGlone set to boot it away. Hambrick back deep, along with Clementa Bell, number 1. And this one goes out of bounds right at the 6.
Got to find a way to keep the ball on the field of play. Can't take that penalty, giving the opposing team a good head start when it comes to their first offensive drive. You don't want to do that.
Decatur, I tell you what, they have thrown up some points this year. 62 points in a game earlier this year against Cross Keys.
Kick it team. Ball placed on 35, 1st and 10.
37 points a game offensively for the Bulldogs. They've outscored their opponents 476 to 104 in 2003. Unbelievable. So Ellis George back under center I formation. Ross Curry is the fullback. Hambrick at the tailback. And that's Anton George in motion. Give us to the left side, and Hambrick across the 40 will have a pretty good gain on first down. About 6 or 7 yards there. Williams had to make the tackle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting Bulldog lineup. Offensive line, you've got Riley at the center, flanked by Moon and Wright at the guards. Johnson and Allen are the tackles. And in the backfield for Decatur, again, Curry's the running back along with Hambrick. George and Mitchell are the wideouts. And Jamal Salim, the tight end. Big, good-looking tight end, too. So 2nd down and 4 after a gain of 6. Hambrick, the lone back. Twins near side. That's Andrew Kelly in motion, and the give is to Hambrick trying to turn the corner. Going to be tripped up, loses the football. It's on the ground. And a scramble for it, I believe Anton George was able to get it back for Decatur, but I tell you what, the Bulldogs very fortunate right there. There was all kind of green jerseys around that thing.
And one thing about Johnny Hambrick, he has put the ball on the ground a few times this year. He's had 15 fumbles and 8 of them lost. They luckily get this one back so he doesn't make his 9th loss, but one thing Coach Davenport's not going to be able to do is win the ball game if they're turning the ball over with interceptions and or fumbles.
Shakira Millsap, the safety, came up to force that play outside. You saw Millsap right there trip up Hambrick, and that caused the whole thing to just be disrupted right there. Millsap, again, that safety coming up there. I know you can appreciate that, too.
I love it. Love it when the guys in the secondary come up and make a play behind the line of scrimmage.
Run support. 3rd down and 5. Trips left for Decatur. The Bulldogs coming out firing here. And George dropping back, looking deep down the field, has a man at the 25, and it's caught at the 20 by Brandon Stevens, the junior wideout, who adjusted to that football nicely and made a big grab.
Beautiful adjustment by Brandon Stevens. Wide down the field, one-on-one coverage. The quarterback puts the ball up where only his defender can get it. He gets a good read on it, turns around, and makes a good catch. That's a very good play by the young wide receiver.
30-yard throw and catch right there, and the Wolves had the coverage on the play there, but the DB got turned around. That was Austin. And it looked like that ball could have been intercepted there momentarily. But it's 1st down and 10, and the Bulldogs are knocking on the door here. Short twins left, and the give is to Hambrick. He's got room. Watch out. Johnny Hambrick. Touchdown, Decatur. And the Bulldogs come roaring right back down the field. Unbelievable.
Very good vision by Johnny Hambrick after getting the ball. He's playing a wide toss out here, and he goes outside, but with the vision that he has, he sees a hole inside, cuts it back, and makes a couple of defenders miss. It's a very good run by number 2, Johnny Hambrick.
You know, we talk a lot about Walker, but Hambrick, his goal today, not to be overshadowed. So far, he has shown out. Here's Brian Simonson for the point after, and it's blocked. And the Wolves block it. Big time play right there. Zach Bush, number 27, one of those safeties, came shooting through there to put a stop to that one. So the Wolves will hang on to a 1-point lead here, 7-6. And here's another look at that touchdown.
Very good job. We talked about it earlier. Johnny Hambrick, good vision. Read the hole perfectly, cut back, and made some defenders miss. Straight to pay dirt.
Get another look at it right here. Good cutback right there.
Very good cutback.
And let's take another look at that blocked extra point, too. You'll see Bush come flying through here from the right side of your screen.
You've got to appreciate when young guys in high school really put forth a lot of effort on special teams. Those are one of the units on the football field that get overlooked quite often, but if you put forth a lot of effort, big-time plays come up like that, and a blocked field goal, 1 point is very important.
There you can look at the Bulldog drive. 4 plays, 65 yards, and just a minute 37 off the clock. And then, of course, that 20-yard touchdown run for Hambrick. School record for Hambrick this year, most rushing yards in a season. That's a Decatur record. He's got right around, well, probably got a little over 2,000 now with the way he's come out here. 8.2 yards a carry, though, over 3,000 career rushing yards. Just an unbelievable career at Decatur.
When you got a running back like Hambrick, as well as the Wolves' Walker, why even throw the ball? These guys are averaging 8 yards a carry, 10 yards a carry. Just let them run the ball.
Simonson boots it away. Austin will field it. Finally picks it up at the 8. Got a little bit of room, breaks a tackle, won't break another, though, and gets up to the 14, and that's about it. Good job by the Bulldogs on special teams. As you get a look at the Decatur crowd, it's fouled in here today, and both these teams, as expected, have certainly brought the communities with them. They got a lot of folks here.
A lot of love for both of these teams in the community. A lot of respect as well. And when you got an undefeated ball club, you get a few bandwagon fans coming along every now and then, but for the majority, for the past few seasons, they do bring a good crowd.
Good football programs right here. So the Buford now, they've got to step up here and answer the challenge that's been laid in front of them. Decatur storming right back down the field. And so now the Wolves back on offense. Manley under center, Clark in motion. And they give it to Walker, breaks a tackle inside the 20 and will punch it out to the 23. Good gain on first down right there.
Darius Walker's not a running back that's going to go down after first contact. He'll break tackles. You're not going to bring him down with the arm tackles like you saw right here. You're going to have to get your head across the bow and get low so you can stop him backwards instead of allowing him to lean forward and continue to get yards.
You're going to look at his numbers this year. Very impressive, over 1,800 yards, averaging right around 10 yards a carry, and of course those 40 touchdowns for the season. And a 4.0 grade point average, too. That's something else, too, that a lot of colleges are taking into consideration. Very well-rounded young man. Give his back to Walker straight up the middle. He's got the first down across the 30. Jamal Gordon made the stop on defense. That's one thing, though, Ryan, too, we talked about coming into this game is, you know, you see all the touchdowns and all the big numbers. Walker runs a lot between the tackles. Right. He earns it.
And he runs a lot between the tackles like you saw just now, a regular old lead/dive play. At the same time, you got to keep in mind, these guys had a lot of blowouts this year. He sat down in the second half in a lot of these ball games, and he still has the numbers that he's put up this season, so it's a very good running back in Walker.
Twins to the left. Shifted eye formation for the Wolves. Again, Clark in motion. 6 men up front for Decatur, and Manley rolling, looking to throw. He's got a man wide open at the 40. 45, loses the handle of football. That's Zach Smith out of the backfield there. But a big gain for the Wolves and another first down. Lost the handle on that one, though, at the end of the play there, and Terrence Bell knocked it loose.
Little play-action pass where Zach slips out and makes a block like he's not a part of the pass route, then gets out into the flats, has a little fumble, but he's got the awareness to get back on top of that ball. These guys are going to have to get victories this afternoon without putting the ball on the ground, because if you fumble and turn the ball over, it's going to be hard to beat a good ball club.
18 yards up to the 49. Narrow, the tight end, shifts over. Now Wood in motion. Manley, little draw play. Walker hit and dropped A big-time play right there. Chaz Wright, number 61, was one of the first guys there along with Jamal Cobb. And here you see what we've been talking about right there, that size up front by that Bulldog front.
And when you've got two defensive tackles that's big and huge like these guys, look at him right there. It's hard to establish the line of scrimmage when they get that low and across the line of scrimmage, and they'll make plays behind the line of scrimmage all afternoon.
107 tackles for Wright, 16 for a loss, 2.5 sacks. Big season for Mr. Wright. Power forward on the basketball team as well. I'd hate to see him coming down the court. 2nd and 13 right here after that loss of 3, and the give is straight forward. Blake Skipper, number 9, and now a late penalty flag comes flying in. Looks like maybe a face mask on the tail end of that play.
Another dive play. Buford's concentrating right now between the tackles.
Face mask on the white team. 5-yard penalty. Replay second.
So the 5-yard version right there. Let's take another look at it. Just a big pile of folks right there.
Coach Davenport said, I didn't see a penalty.
5th year as a head coach, but first at Decatur, and a lot of folks felt like the talent has been there for a while. They just needed a field general like Davenport to come in there and refine it a little bit. It didn't take very long for him to do that. So 2nd down and a long 5 right here for the Wolves. Receivers left and right. 3:35 to go in the opening quarter. Buford up 7-6. Give back to Walker. Will cross the 45 and take it down to about the 41.5, and going to be just shy of a first down. It looks like going to be 3rd and short upcoming.
Keeping the ball in Walker's hands, running right off the tackles, or inside the tackles rather. A lead play with the fullback setting up some blocks, and the offensive line's doing a good job of getting low, pushing the defensive line back.
Quincy Kelly on that last tackle. 3rd down conversions. Decatur 1 of 1, Buford 1 of 2. Early here, 3rd down and 1. He's got the first down, does Walker, all the way down to the 32. Jamal Gordon, the linebacker, made the stop, but not before another big run by that tailback.
Darius Walker, very explosive player. Good quick steps, and whether there's a hole there or not, he's going to go to the line of scrimmage as fast as he can. Doesn't run like TJ Duckett tiptoeing, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you. 44 touchdowns this year overall through the playoffs. As we mentioned, he needs one more to tie Herschel Walker and Charles Grant as the all-time single-season touchdown scorers in GHSA history. And Walker with another opportunity inside the 30 will have a couple. It's funny, you know, Walker actually played nose guard his first year of football as a young man, following in his footsteps of his father, Jimmy Walker, who had a 9-year NFL career, but it didn't take long for Walker to make the switch to running back, and it's a move that certainly paid off.
Athletes that have certain athletic ability, you know, you can't hold them down. No matter what position they play at, whether it's defensive tackle or running back, they're going to make big plays, and that's what you find in Walker. If you mention Herschel Walker and then mention this young kid, you know he's a heck of a ball player.
Timeout going to be called by Buford. They want to talk things over here. You know, there's a Walker right there. We had a Lemuel Walker yesterday with Charlton County, a freshman running back who had a big game. And, of course, we've talked about Herschel Walker because of the numbers that Darius has put up here. So a lot of Walkers, the theme this weekend here at the Georgia Dome. Again, 1:57 to go in the opening quarter. Dave Garner, Ryan Stewart with you. David Zelski on the sideline today. 7-6 Buford with a 1-point lead, and so far these two offenses, we talk a little bit about defense, but so far the offenses have pretty much been up and down the field, although there's not a lot of scoring going on. Let's go ahead and throw it on down the sideline. Mr. David Zelski, what's going on?
Well, just a little bit more on Darius Walker. He also is a singer, and he also does a little dancing, which has got to help with his balance and agility. How he fits all this in is beyond me, but so is the way he plays football. Back to you guys.
I tell you what, he's just an all-around great kid, as we mentioned, 4.0 GPA, and he's got over 50 Division 1A offers coming at him. How do you narrow it down? You know?
Well, it all depends on the actual player and what he's looking for out of an institution.
2nd down and about 8.5 right here. Merrow, the big tight end, flops over to the right. And receiver back in motion, near side. And this time Manley Looking, the play action. Oh, man, Zach Smith, the 10, breaks a tackle, 5, and Zach Smith is into the end zone. And now they're going to mark him down just shy of the end zone, right inside the 1 yard line there. And it looked like he might have got in there for a moment, but I guess he was stopped just shy there.
I know the Decatur Bulldogs, they have their hands full with a running back like Walker, but this team, the Buford Wolves, are not just limited to Walker, okay? They've got some offensive threats, and you better realize you got to keep your eyes on the fullback and Mr. Thomas as well.
You'll see the tail end of this one right here. Made a good cut back there at the 6. And just shy there, and the Wolves and the fans wanting a touchdown right there, but it will be first down and goal after a gain of 29 by Zach Smith, who also has some speed.
I said Thomas, I meant Smith.
High formation. Zach Smith, fullback driving, and he's in there that time. Zach Smith with 121 yards rushing against Cook in the quarterfinals. Tell you what, you can't take your eye off of him either. A good 1-2 punch with the fullback, and of course Walker at tailback, and Smith has put the Wolves up by 7.
Zach Smith got it down on the goal line, and I guess Coach Wood said since he worked to get it here, I might as well give it to him again to let him get it across the line of scrimmage. One thing that Buford's going to do is they're going to use their big-time running back in Darius Walker as a decoy somewhat, and that's what we've seen so far in this first quarter.
Patrick McGlon is true on the extra point, and the Buford lead is now 14-6 with 1:24 to go here in the opening quarter, and that Wolves offense is rolling right along. Interesting, Coach Dexter Wood should get a look at Zach Smith on the sideline. Again, that scoring drive, 9 plays, 86 yards, nearly 5 minutes off the clock, and again, that 1 yard touchdown plunge there. And that was a reward carry for Smith, as you mentioned. 29 yards taking it down there, and Coach Wood wasn't about to give it to anybody else going in.
Well, they thought he got in the end zone on the original play, but the referee said he stepped out of bounds. Why not give it back to him, especially on the 1 yard line? A fullback dive is perfect and appropriate, and he deserves it. He did the work to get it down there. Reward him by letting him get pay dirt, which is 6 points.
So now the Wolves set to kick it back off. Coach Dexter Wood actually picked up his 200th career win against Decatur back in 2001. So these two have met a couple times in the past 5 years or so. McGlon set to kick it off, and there you get a look at number 3, Anton Mitchell, for Decatur, set to return it.
A lot of points scored in the first quarter so far.
Low liner. It'll be taken by Clementa Bell, who will let it roll into the end zone, and the ball will come on out to the 20. Decatur playing out of Region 5, Buford out of Region 8, as you get a look at some of the Bulldog fans in the house here today. Tell you what, I know one guy that's watching this is Herb White, the elevator from Decatur. Viewers might remember him from the high school basketball coverage right here on GPTV. Does a great job, and you know he's somewhere around here today.
You better believe it.
We can look at the Wolves fans making the trip from Buford this afternoon. So 1st and 10. Bulldogs break the huddle with trips right. And an I formation. Again, Curry is the fullback. And the top sweep. Hamrick trying to turn the corner. Breaks one tackle and is pushed out right across the 20. Zach Smith, the linebacker, came over there for the hit.
Got a flag on the play, but the pursuit by the Buford Wolves is incredible. All you can ask from a young team is to stretch the field whenever they're trying to go outside, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Officials talking things over here a little bit. Going to be on Decatur, it looks like.
Illegal procedure on the white team. 5 men on the line of scrimmage. Penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So the Wolves will take the down right there. You know, we talked about 37 points a game offensively for Decatur. Flip side of that, though, Buford allowing a modest 6. Not even allowing a touchdown and an extra point on the season. These teams aren't all about offense. 2nd down and 9, Twins left. I formation, Buford showing run blitz. Ellis George, option play. Hamrick, 20, and taking down a good open field tackle by Zach Smith, number 32, who's showing out here on both sides of the football.
There's a lot of football to be played, but right now I think it's safe to say that Zach Thomas has got his game face on. I'm sorry, I keep calling him Thomas. Zach Smith has got his game face on right now. Making plays on offense and on defense, getting behind the line of scrimmage. Stretching Johnny Hambrick out, not allowing him to cut to the corner. Good pursuit by Zach Smith. Wonderful tackle.
Textbook right there, especially having to chase him down. Hambrick's got some speed. Third down and 8 right here. Twins left, receiver to the right. And to give his back, that is number 21. For Decatur's got some room there. Quincy Kelly takes it all the way up to the 35. And that's going to be a gain of about 13 yards and a first down. So some fresh legs right there. And it's kind of a family affair here today. There's 2 sets of brothers on this Decatur team. The Kellys, Quincy and Andrew are brothers. Ellis and Antoine George are brothers. The Bells, there's no relation there, but a couple sets of brothers on this team for the Bulldogs.
When it comes to your starting running back, no doubt Johnny Hambrick is the man, but his backup in Quincy Kelly is averaging roughly 11 yards per carry, okay? So he's a guy that can stretch the field as well, and he did that just now, getting the first down for the Bulldogs.
Final seconds tick off the clock here in the first quarter. Decatur unable to get the play off. 14-6, Buford on top. You're watching state semifinal action on GPTV. There you're going to look at the 2 gentlemen who have led their teams here to the Dome today. Steve Davenport of Decatur, perfect 13-0, and Coach Dexter Wood likewise for the Buford Wolves, looking for their 3rd straight state championship. They won it 34-10 over Greater Atlanta Christian last year for the title. But Decatur may have something to say about that. They're going to try to be the team to finally end that 43-game win streak. Buford trying to make it 44 today. First down and 10. Decatur back on offense here to start the second quarter, and flags all over the place.
Coach Wood of the Wolves, a coach that's been around for a very long time, has been very successful. And on the flip side, you've got Coach Davenport from the Bulldogs, young up-and-coming coach that...
First down.
Saw the movement there up front on Williams, who came across for Buford.
Davenport's a young and up-and-coming coach that wishes and hopes to have the success that Coach Woods has had right on the other side of the field there.
Yeah, you know, Decatur 9-11 over the last 2 years, basically. To be here at the Dome in 1 year, it is the Cinderella story of the entire playoffs, in my opinion.
It's incredible.
Without a doubt. So first and 5 after the penalty, ball right at the 40. I formation. This time Ellis George looking to throw. Up top, long down the field, has a man there, and at the 20, it's incomplete. Anton Mitchell, the intended target right there, and no flags.
I don't know, Dave. I don't know.
Well, the Wolves barking, if you will. They want those fans. They want a flag.
That's a pretty good thrown ball by Ellis George, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a little pushing and tugging that's kind of prohibiting Mr. Mitchell from getting full extension to get to that ball. It's good coverage, but at the same time, there could have been a flag thrown on that play.
Bulldogs wanting the call there. Coach Davenport, one of the guys working those officials over there, trying to get that call. But it is second down and 5. Decatur breaks the huddle. Twins right. One back set this time. Buford in a 4-3. And this time the handoff is to Hambrick. Right side is hit. Maybe a yard, but that's all. Blake Skipper, the middle linebacker, one of the guys in there. That Buford defense is tough, as we said. Allowing only 6 points a ball game. The most they've allowed all year long in one game was 19 in round 2 against Adairsville.
Very good football team. One thing you need to realize is that there's 3 phases of football: offense, defense, and special teams. You've seen the Buford Wolves perform well on offense. They block the kick on special teams or block the field goal on special teams, and the defense is playing well. If they're playing good in all 3 phases, it's going to be impossible to beat those guys.
Decatur 2 of 2 on third downs. Buford 2 of 3. Here's another third down right here for the Bulldogs. Third down and 4. And flags come flying in right here. It looks like it's going to be a delay of game. on the Bulldog offense there. So 3rd and 4 will become 3rd and 9.
Got to play mistake-free, penalty-free.
Dead ball, delay game, White.
Turnover-free football to beat a superior team like the Buford Wolves.
Can't make a lot of mistakes because Buford's the kind of team that forces you into mistakes, and they don't make any. And that's been the reason for the 43 consecutive wins.
Right. They just capitalize off of your penalties and your mistakes, use them for their benefit.
Buford 2 penalties for 10 yards here in the early going. Decatur just the 1 penalty for 5 yards. George dropping back to throw. He's got some real estate in front of him, folks. 40, takes it all the way up to the 45, and that's going to be awfully close to a first down. Zach Smith and Neil Brown had to bring him downfield, but George showing off some jets right there.
Good job by Ellis George, realizing that they're in man-to-man coverage. There's no one accounting for the quarterback. Big gaping hole in the middle of the field. Turns the jets on to get as much yards as possible. And Coach Davenport just might put his guys out here to go for this one.
Now 4th down and short. It looks like they are trotting the punt unit on here. Brian Simonson going back into punt formation and now whistles. Decatur may call a timeout rider to talk things over.
Timeout, White.
And indeed they have. You know, Ellis George, the kind of player, doesn't throw up a lot of big, flashy numbers, but he's a leader, and that is something that Coach Davenport looks out of him. Plays like that right there pretty much sum up the way he plays. He makes plays when he has to. It's kind of that Michael Vick player. He's not going to throw for 300 yards every night, but he's going to make some plays to keep you in a football game.
Coaches pray to have players on their team that can be leaders on the field, that coach on the field, that guys look to, guys have questions for, and they also make big plays for. Every coach dreams of having players like that, and that's exactly what Ellis George is for Steve Davenport.
Listening in there on those huddles. 14-6 again, Buford over Decatur right now, but the Bulldogs staying in this one right here. Again, 10:08 left in this first half. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens right here. Kind of decision time. I mean, the ball's on the 45. You know Buford's got just an outstanding offense. You don't really want to give the football back to him right now.
And then at the same time, it's just a half of a yard. I mean, come on. Anybody can get half of a yard for a first down.
Well, the punting team was on the field, but now the offense has come back on after the timeout, and the Bulldogs are showing that they're going for it. George, the fullback, is hit, and good second effort, but I don't know if he got there. Quincy Kelly, number 21, got his number called, and I don't think he got it, Ryan.
Doesn't look like it, Dave.
Mark Standridge, number 23, was the linebacker, came shooting through there.
Beautiful play.
And the ball will go over on down, so Quincy Kelly, I wasn't sure with that second effort if he was able to get that football across there, but he was a couple lengths short. And the Wolves will go back to work on offense. Coach Wood sending in Kyle Manley, that quarterback, and now, you know, I like the call, though. I think you've got to go for it in that situation. Ball out close to midfield there, but bad right here if you're a Decatur giving that football back to Buford with a short field. So 1st down at 10, I formation. Boston the man in motion this time. And they give it to Zach Smith, the fullback. Takes it down to the 41 there on the quick hitter. Jamal Gordon, the linebacker, with the stop.
Now, I'm coming into this ball game thinking, okay, I'm going to see a heavy dose of Darius Walker every single offensive play. Well, what I'm figuring out or finding out here, Dave, is that they've got confidence in all of the offensive players. It's not just the Walker show. They're using Smith at the fullback position. They're going to allow the quarterback to make some decisions. A well-balanced offensive team for the Buford Wolves.
And they can throw the ball, which is something we haven't seen so far here in the early going. Other than a couple of pass plays. In the flat, here's Walker up the middle. Breaks off a tackle, keeps those legs turning and turns a short gain into a pretty good gain. Quincy Kelly on defense there. It's going to have about 4 or 5 yards here.
A little misdirection play where the tailback, actually sidesteps to the right, but then actually cuts back to the left. Somewhat of a counterplay for the offense.
Jamal Cobb down on the ground for Decatur defensively at the 40, a little shaken up there.
You saw on that 4th and 1 when Coach Davenport went for it, he decided to bring in Quincy Kelly instead of Johnny Hambrick. Kelly's a little bit bigger and a guy that's going to get more of a punch when he gets to the line of scrimmage. It just didn't happen on the 4th and short.
You get a look at Walker, National Honor Society, top 10 in his class academically. As we mentioned, school records, holds the most yards rushing and touchdowns, 89 career TDs, and also had a pretty good singing voice, we've learned too.
And don't forget, just like Lynn Swan, he's a guy that uses some dance to help him with his balance. And to keep those quick feet being as quick as they are, good and nimble, good balance.
The magic number for Walker has been 4 in these playoffs. Of course, 44 touchdowns overall. He's got that 4.0 GPA, of course. 4 touchdowns in round 1, 4 touchdowns in round 2 against Adairsville, and 4 touchdowns in round 3 in the quarterfinals against Cook.
All these 4s.
Good 3rd and 3 coming up here. Well, tonight's game can also be viewed live on the GPTV internet site at www.gpb.org. Just follow the links to connect to the game. Again, all the games from the Dome this weekend will be archived and available on the GPB website as well. That's www.gpb.org. Buford Wolves in the house. The big 3rd down and about 2.5 upcoming right here. We'll call it 3rd and 3. Twins left. Merrill, the tight end, also to the left. In the I formation, and the handoff is to the fullback, Zach Smith. And he's going to have a 1st down. Jamal Gordon, the linebacker, came up to make the stop. But as you mentioned, Ryan, expecting a steady dose of Darius Walker, and we're getting a lot of Zach Smith.
I'm going to stop talking about it and just let Zach do his thing down there. They ran a little option motion or option play, but he decided to give it to the fullback instead of tossing it to Walker on the outside, and the hole was there, and Zach did a very good job of getting the positive yards for a 1st down. Very hard runner.
Oh, yeah. Smith with 121 yards, as we mentioned, rushing against Cook on 11 carries. Better than 10 yards a carry right there. So 1st down and 10. Little toss sweep there. Darius Walker trying to turn the corner. His hit stretches out, loses the handle on the football, but I believe they're going to say his knee was down. And the Wolves very fortunate right there. Good play defensively by the Bulldogs. Here's another look at it.
That's something Coach Davenport really needs to happen right now. He needs his defense to create some turnovers so they can put the offense back on the field. A little under 8 minutes left in the 1st half, and he can't score unless he gets that ball.
Look at a reverse angle there.
Good
Jamal
pursuit.
Gordon,
yeah.
One of the first guys that Clementa Bell actually ripped that ball out of there. So 2nd and 7 right here. Total yards 162 to 80 in favor of Buford. And again, the carry to the fullback. That's Blake Skipper, number 9, with another carry. Saw him early on in that 1st quarter with a couple of carries for that Wolves offense, and they've got some guys that can interchange in and out.
When there's a pile and the running back is on his way down, Dave, secondary members are taught if the tackle is, safe to say, made to come in there and club, rip, and punch that ball. And that's what Clemente Bell did just now. He knew the play was over with, that the tackle was just about made, so he came in and swiped that ball. This is a very good heads-up play by Mr. Bell.
We're going to look at Skipper, the fullback. Clementa Bell, 25 pass breakups this year, 4 interceptions, all returned for touchdowns.
He's dangerous.
Austin in motion. And this time Andley wanting to throw, looks, fires, and it's going to be intercepted. Tipped, then intercepted by Anton Mitchell, the sophomore. Thor Merrow, the tight end, had his big paws on it, but couldn't quite glove it, and Mitchell with a big INT.
2 or 3 plays ago, I said Coach Davenport's getting close to the half. He needs his defense to make a play. It's actually a dropped pass by number 33, Thor Merrow. We talked about him earlier. And a big play by number 3 for the Bulldogs, Antoine Mitchell, focusing on that ball. The ball's on the ground. He's falling, looks it all the way in, and makes a big interception for his ball club.
Mitchell with 40 tackles on the year, 15 pass breakups, and now he's got an interception here in this semifinal contest. So Decatur back on offense. 1st down and 10 just inside their own 20. Dave Garner, Ryan Stewart with you. David Zelska on the sideline, and now the Bulldogs call a timeout. Quarterback Ellis George didn't like something.
Timeout, White.
Chaz Wright, number 61, came from the sideline, and didn't know what the play was. He was kind of lethargic, lackadaisical getting out there. So George decided to call a timeout instead of taking 5 yards, which is something you don't want to do right now.
Again, game 7 of 10 right here at the Georgia Dome this weekend. And hats off to this GPTV crew. All the camera folks have done an excellent job. I want to thank all the folks up here in the booth. Richard up here doing an excellent job on spot. I don't know what I'd have done yesterday in that Vidalia game. I tell you what, those numbers were a little hard to see there. But he came through for me as you get a look at the crowd in the house here today. There's Tracy back on that field camera doing an excellent job today.
What up, Trace, with the end zone looks down there?
Yeah. They have fun. It's a long weekend, and I know you folks at home don't realize it, how long these folks are here. There's Sharon right there waving at you. Tight shots from up top here in the Dome.
Hey, Sharon.
These folks are here all weekend long. Now, who's that? I doubt that's a GPTV camera operator right there.
I'm trying to figure out if it's a wolf or a mule.
Another end zone shot there, Shane. 1st and 10, and it looks like the Wolves may have jumped across right there. It was number 54, Davis Knoll, who came across, it looked like.
High school football is very big in the state of Georgia. It's very good that GPTV puts on these great productions. Not a one-camera crew. You got cameras all over the place, making sure that you get good coverage of these games.
Approaching, screen, 1st down.
Yeah, we've just been told, 24 hours live in a 39-hour period.
Wow. That's incredible.
There's our handheld camera operator right down there, getting down on the sideline. Boy, he's getting into it. So 1st and 5 after the penalty. And that time, Hambrick stood up by several of those Buford defenders, and not much room over on that right side. Standridge, Zach Smith, Ron Sutton right there. Doing an excellent job here on camera today. There's a shot right there. He's the man up top. That's the action shot right there.
Action man. Big play by Neil Brown just now, centering the middle of that defensive line for the Wolves. He's a big load to push around. You're not going to get him back that often.
6 minutes left here in this first half. Again, Buford up by 8. And this time the Bulldogs going down the field again. And Anton Mitchell trying to adjust to that ball there, but it was thrown out of bounds. Buford had the coverage. Roderick Toombs taking care of everything in the master control at GPTV. Certainly want to say hi to him as well.
Ellis George just threw somewhat of a fade pattern. Threw it too far to the outside, and the wide receiver wasn't able to adjust to make the catch. The ball ended up going out of bounds, so now they're looking at a 3rd and 6.
So an I formation right here. Twins right, receiver to the left. Big 3rd down right here. Ellis George looking to throw, being pressured. Somehow or another gets out of there. He escapes, trying to turn that corner. He's got the 24 and pulled out of bounds by big Neil Brown, who just came down the line and made that play there. And George forced out of bounds, shy of the 1st down marker.
Ellis George did a good job of avoiding the rush and breaking a tackle to get outside. Once he started running full speed, he wasn't able to pull the ball back up to hit a receiver down the field. And big number 64 running down the line of scrimmage, Neil Brown. We're going to talk about him all day.
Thor Marrow, number 33, actually had the initial pressure that chased George out of the pocket, and then from there, it was just a lot of running. There you can look at big Neil Brown. He's also got a lot of Division 1A football offers, and we talked about him a little bit up top.
Now you know why he has all those offers.
Timeout on the field called by Buford, so the Wolves want to talk things over here before this 4th down call. It looks like Decatur probably going to punt that football away there. Brian Simonson. Again, Georgia Public Broadcasting has made it easier than ever to show your support for great local programs like our coverage of the GHSA football playoffs. Simply visit our website at www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and takes just 2 minutes. And again, thank you for your support of Georgia Public Broadcasting. Also, thanks for tuning in. The state semifinals, some good games, of course, on tap later on today. Saw a good one earlier this morning, and I know, Ryan, you got here a little early. We both got here a little early watching that single A contest, and boy, that was quite a game with Hawkinsville and Clinch County going at it. Hawkinsville able to beat Clinch this year.
go in at halftime at 6-0, anybody's ball game, and when they come back out, they just explode offensively. A couple of turnovers, but like you mentioned, a very good ball game earlier. This is going to be a very good ball game here, and more games to come right here on GPTV.
See the preview in today's Atlanta Journal-Constitution of all the high school football coverage. Sharon Austin back deep for Buford against Simonson, will boot it away. Heavy rush gets it out of there, and a pretty good punt. Fair catch by Austin at his own 42, and the Wolves will be back on offense. Sharon Austin, with the game's first score on a reverse.
We've mentioned the Wolves special teams already just now. Kyler Case really almost blocked that punt.
Yeah.
Maybe another inch or two, and that punt's going to be blocked for Buford.
Bulldog cheerleaders in the house here today.
Get the
Fired
TV
up.
time, girls. Get the TV time. Go ahead.
So first down and 10 for the green and gold. And the give is to Zach Smith, number 32. Punching, driving, trying to get to that 45. May have picked up 3 yards there on the play. Chaz Wright combining with Jamal Gordon and Quincy Kelly for that one. Jamal Gordon, number 28, real good-looking athlete for Decatur on defense. 174 tackles this year, 8 sacks. 6'2", 205 really anchors the middle at that middle linebacker spot.
6'2", 205's got very good lateral movement, gets down the line of scrimmage and makes big plays. You have to have good lateral movement if you've got around 200 tackles in one season. Very good linebacker.
So second down and 8. Ryan Wood motion near side, and Manley looking to throw. And he has his target right there. And that was number 8. Zach Neeson, or Brandon Clark, rather look like number 6. The big senior for the catch.
Little rollout action by the quarterback in Manley. Sees number 6, Clark, sitting in the wings, and Clark does a good job of securing the catch and turning it up as fast as possible to get some more yards.
Big gain right there in a first down, ball into Decatur territory at the 43. So the Wolves driving on offense once again, 4:49 as you get a look at the tail end of that play there. Forced out of bounds hard. Brandon Clark with a couple of catches here in this first half. High formation. A little sweep play right there. Darius Walker trying to turn it 40-35, and he is so elusive, just sneaking his way through there. He's going to be right at that first down marker, and Terrence Bell brought him down in the secondary.
Little toss play out here to Mr. Walker. He goes wide and realizes that his wide receivers have pushed the secondary and the linebackers on the outside out, and he cuts it up inside and gets a very good gain. They're going to keep wearing down the Decatur Bulldogs, and then in the second half, I'm pretty sure Darius Walker's just going to come out and explode.
Second down, less than a yard right here, just shy of the marker. You get a look at a close-up of quarterback Kyle Manley. Skipper, the fullback, gets his number called and driving, and I don't know if he got there. Nice job by the Bulldogs front. As I mentioned, they got some size up there. They've got guys 230, 250, 260 across the front there, and that's hard at any level. AA, 5A, it doesn't matter. You got guys like that, you can make plays.
Big number 61. Sauls beats his block. Chaz Wright, I'm sorry.
Right, with, over 100 tackles this year. 6'4", 315.
Good Lord.
He ups the average a little bit, I'd say. Across the front there. And he's a basketball player. Unbelievable. Third down, less than a yard. Wolves didn't get it on that last play. And now Manley looking to throw deep down the field. Has a man open at the 10-yard line. Brandon Clark, touchdown. 34 yards on the pass and reception there. And Brandon Clark with a touchdown right there, and the Wolves in control early.
Fake the toss to Walker, the defensive back, number 7, and Mr. Bell wasn't paying attention. Thought it was going to be a toss. You got to play your coverage first and get pass first, not run. They caught him slipping. Big time catch for Brandon Clark and a touchdown.
McGlon to add the PAT, does so. Splits the uprights, and it's 21-6. The big green machine rolling right along here in the Georgia Dome. And really, I tell you what, today has been really a showcase of what this team is all about. They're more than just Darius Walker.
Much more than Darius Walker. You see Clark here making a big-time catch. Zach Smith made some big plays at the fullback position. And let's not belittle what Kyle Manley's doing as far as throwing the ball whenever they do throw the ball.
Well, as we mentioned, Manley's gone up top for over 1,000 yards this year, 8 touchdowns on the season coming in. 3.7 GPA, but he has been able to throw the football this year, and they've had success. And that has opened up that running game.
Right.
You bring those 8 guys up in the box there, and that's going to open up those receivers downfield.
He'll be able to find one-on-one matchups every single time they've got 8 in the box. And the receivers are good enough to make plays in one-on-one coverage.
Brandon Clark, a senior on this Wolves team. And the guys that have been here for 4 years have made 4 trips to the Georgia Dome.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Patrick McGlon, the kicker, set to boot it away here. There's some guys on that field that have a chance to have 3 championship rings.
Beautiful. I hope they don't put them on eBay and sell them. Hold on to them, guys.
Short kickoff, fair caught at the 25 by Parker Fleming, number 10. The safety and backup quarterback. So now if you're Decatur and Coach Davenport, you've really got to make something happen here. 3:13, they've got time to go down the field.
Right.
They score a touchdown right here, at least put some points on the board. They're still in this football game, and they still are. They'd love to get down there and score right now.
It's very important. A lot of things can happen. They can have the same half that Buford's had in the first half and the second half. Greg Lester's the offensive coordinator, and between Greg Lester and Stephen Davenport, they both worked with Ralph Region back in the day. So offensive-minded coaches that have a wide variety of plays and formations that they use throughout the course of a ball game.
Another hanky on the field right there. Seen a little bit of yellow here in this first half. Not too bad. This one's going to be on Buford. Decatur ranked number 6 on the season.
Dead ball, encroachment on the green, first down.
You're going to look at the scoring drive right here. Again, 4 plays, 58 yards, 225, and Clark, as you see him right there on your monitor with that 34-yard touchdown reception. In there on defense now, playing corner. So 1st and 5 after the penalty, and George wants to throw. Nearly drugged down, gets that ball out of there, completes it to Anton Mitchell, breaks the tackle, 45. And all the way across midfield into Buford territory goes Mitchell. Mark Standridge brought him down into secondary, but another big catch right there for number 3.
Antoine Mitchell did a good job of making an adjustment to make the catch. Also, I got to mention it's a very good job by Ellis George, because when you've got a guy and you're sitting in the pocket hanging on your jersey, a lot of quarterbacks will just take the sack. Ellis sat in there and got the pass off. Mitchell made a good job and broke a tackle and got another 10 yards on the play. So still a lot of time for these guys to get a few points on the board before halftime. It's very important.
Mitchell, that big play wide out. Averaging over 28 yards a catch this year. That's unbelievable. 5'11", 170. 1st and 10. Ball at the 47. And a quarterback keeper all the way, a little bootleg. Ellis George, he's tripped up at the 45 and dives across there. Pretty good gain. Jakira Millsap, the safety, came up. You know, Decatur's had a lot of what I call character wins in these playoffs. They've had some close games, but have made some plays late, as we see this bootleg here by George. Nearly broke. One more tackle, and he might have a little bit more room there.
One more tackle. He just might have hit that corner. Very good blocking scheme by the Bulldogs. Got up there to protect their quarterback.
2nd down at 7. Blown back. George looking to throw. Quick hitter. Oh, Mitchell had it in his hands and dropped it. Marshawn Austin came in there to make sure Mitchell wasn't going to catch it.
Mitchell's had about 7 drops already this season. Doesn't drop the ball that much for the amount of times that they throw it to him. He might have heard the footsteps just now and was a little worried about the shot. Yeah, you got to catch it before you take your eyes off of it. Don't worry about that shot. You're going to get that shot whether you catch the ball or not.
Exactly, exactly. Okay? You might as well catch the football. You're going to get hit anyway.
You're going to get hit anyway.
You can see Mitchell maybe a little shaken up after that play. He did take a pretty good shot there, and he's on the sideline. So 3rd down and 7 upcoming, and a big play right here. And George, once again, looking to throw, being pressured. big rush there, throws it low and incomplete. That was Hambrick, the intended target right there. Thor Marrow with the pressure once again, big number 33, so it will be 4th down.
The front 7 of the Buford Wolves are doing a very good job. They're coming off the ball very hard, getting a lot of pursuit, and they're keeping some people in the face of Ellis George. That makes it hard for a quarterback to sit in the pocket when you've got a bunch of the opposing team right in your face. It's very difficult to complete passes like that.
Brian Simonson set to boot it away, averaging right around 35 yards a punt here. Going to try to pin the Wolves back deep. Sharon Austin, 18, again back for Buford with his heels on the 10. And a fair catch called for at the 14 by Austin. We're talking about Decatur with some character wins this year, 14-13 in round 2 against Darlington. They were actually trailing in that football game in the 4th quarter. Hambrick with a 4th quarter touchdown, had 129 yards in that game. 4 turnovers by the Bulldogs, but they were able to overcome it still to win the football game. And then, of course, in the quarterfinals, 28-21 over Early County. A lot of people had Early projected back here at the Dome, but Decatur really playing a tough football game and really surprised a lot of folks. That woke a lot of folks up when they beat Early County. So 1st and 10 for the Buford Wolves inside their own 15. And this time another little reverse. That's Austin. He's got some open field. 25-30. Still on his feet. Watch out. All the way up to the 45 goes Masharon Austin. Jamal Salim, the linebacker, had to bring him down, and that's a 31-yard gain.
The Decatur Bulldogs are playing a lot of man coverage. So Buford's coming out with slots and trips to one side with a tight end on the backside. No one keeping contained. They're running that reverse and no one's there to cover him. They're going to have to do something about that. Make sure that when they run that man coverage that the backside corner or safety make sure he contains that ball and make them run inside back to the defense.
And Salim, the linebacker, I know that was Buford offense right there, but I'll tell you what, he was 5 yards or so behind that play and was able to somehow or another catch Austin. That's great pursuit from that speedy linebacker.
Good effort.
Didn't give up on the play. 1st down and 10. Ball just across the 45, and Manley looking to throw this time under some pressure. Gets hit hard as he lets it go. It'll fly out of bounds. Manley, a tough kid, right back up on his feet, trying to find Darius Walker out of the backfield right there, but a heavy rush from the Bulldogs that time.
Bulldogs getting after it. See big number 61 again, Chaz Wright. Big guy like that chasing the quarterback around, making Manley get out of the pocket, and the coverage was there. Manley making a heads-up job and just throwing the ball out of bounds. That's a good job.
Committed to Georgia Tech.
Hey, the Jackets.
That's right. 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. High formation. Brandon Clark, the wide out, good motion up top. And a little draw play. Walker gets by the first wave of defenders. He's got room. 40, 35, 30. Watch out. Walker finally pushed out of bounds down at the 20. Ellis George in there at strong safety had to make the play, and Walker breaking open.
Here you see a draw play that could have really been stopped in the backfield just now if Decatur would have had some firm grips, but they didn't. Walker bounced it outside and uses that speed and gets down the sideline. A very good positive game for the Wolves. 30
yards on that play, and still 1:03 left in the half here, so the Wolves trying to tack on another right before the half. Twins left this time. Zach Smith shifted over. Manley looking to throw, throws it out into flat. He's got Brandon Clark again, and Clark slung down by Clementa Bell into flat. And a gain of about 5 yards though, but that clock will roll here with 50 seconds left. Let's take a look at this right here.
Good thrown ball just now. A good route as well.
On the green.
Brandon Clark was your slot receiver, and the number 1 receiver sprinted up inside the field, and Clark reversed out into the flats, and it was a very good pass completion for the Wolves.
And you see Darius Walker's numbers so far today, 16 rushes, 88 yards, so another big first half. Still looking for that first touchdown though, and again, as we mentioned, one more will time. He's got the state touchdown rushing record. He broke Herschel Walker's record of 42 a week ago, but one more touchdown, and he will tie Herschel Walker and Charles Grant as the most prolific single-season touchdown scorer in GHS history. And again, that's total touchdowns right there. So Walker trying to become a record breaker again here today.
He smelt it just now when he hit that sideline.
Yeah. That's what he was thinking 6.
Yes, sir. He was thinking 6 just now.
Buford, of course, their road through the playoffs a little bit. Blessed Trinity, Adairsville, and Cook. Again, 30-12 over Cook. Had some success against Buford in the first half, but this is a team, as you mentioned, they wear you down, and it really shows in the second half of football games. 2nd down and 5 upcoming right here. Walker again at tailback. Ryan Wood and Clark split wide to the right. Manley again looking to throw. Fires deep in the flat. He's got a man there, and that's Ryan Wood who makes his first grab of the game and gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 43 seconds left. That was Buford's final timeout too, by the way. Neither team with a timeout. So a lot of clock management going on here now.
Kyle Manley doing a very good job of choosing the right receiver to throw the ball to. He had Brandon Clark down the field almost in the end zone with 1-on-1 coverage, but he decided to go to the underneath route for a good completion.
Ryan Wood, Coach Dexter Wood's son, with 65 career receptions. That's a school record. And now Manley looking to throw a big rush, gets it away somehow or another, and nearly intercepted by Anton Mitchell, who was at the goal line there. And that was a dangerous throw right there. They were looking back to Wood again. And Manley lucky that ball wasn't picked off.
A lot of young quarterbacks will still force a pass even when they're under some pressure, got some heat on their backs just like he did just now. I know Mitchell wished he could get another shot at that ball because that could have been a big interception to save their team from going in 3 scores down.
Salim, the linebacker, nearly got the sack there, but Manley was somehow or another able to get that ball out of there.
He's lucky it wasn't an interception.
Yeah. So 2nd down and 10 right here. 37 seconds left, no timeouts. Wolves thinking end zone. 6, 7 guys on the line for Decatur defensively. Manley with time, going up top into the end zone's got a man there. Touchdown! Ryan Wood with the touchdown reception from 11 yards out. And the Wolves tack on another right before the half.
And Ryan Wood is who?
Coach Wood's son, I'll tell you what.
And he's not just the coach's son that's playing because he's the coach's son.
Right, yeah, exactly.
He's the coach's son that's playing because he's a good receiver that split some defenders just now and got to the back of the end zone and made a big catch over his shoulder. He deserves to be in the field, a good receiver.
McGlon adds the extra point, and Buford's lead is now 28-6 with 31 seconds left in the second quarter. And as we mentioned, Ryan Wood with 65 career receptions coming in is a school record for Buford, averaging right around 20 yards a catch. And here you get another look at it.
Really impressed by the arm of Kyle Manley this afternoon. That's not an easy throw. He kind of throws it across his body to the other side of the field, and Wood just makes a beautiful catch. Looks it all the way in. He's behind the defenders. There wasn't a chance that he dropped that ball just now. Good job.
You know, we can't forget about the term student athlete, especially at this level. Check this out. Ryan Wood, as you get a look at the drive right there, 5 plays, 86 yards in just a minute 13, that 11-yard touchdown reception. Ryan Wood has a 4.02 GPA. I don't even know how you get that.
How do you get above a 4.0?
AP classes. I mean, that's all you can say. I'm just wondering how I would get to that. There's no way I could ever do that.
Academics very important, and I'm sure it's stressed by both Coach Woods as well as Coach Davenport.
Kelly right there, Andrew Kelly with the fair catch on the return there, and Decatur will have 30 seconds here, but they may just want to take a knee and get into the locker room. I don't know. You don't want to take a chance here on doing anything crazy right before the half.
Especially the way that the Wolves can stretch the field with Wood and with Walker. Just go ahead and down it and put together a good halftime adjustment plan and come back out and play some more football. Let's not take a chance right here.
Take a look at all the college prospects in this football game. I mean, there's Marshalls and Miamis and Georgia Techs, Georgias. I mean, they're for both sides. I mean, there's so many guys in this football game get looks. We've got a lot to talk about here today. Perhaps the final play of the first half, and Hamrick is hit hard by Zach Smith. and a couple of other Buford defenders, and the seconds will tick away here. Pretty much all Buford. Decatur came right back down the field after Buford threw up the first points of the ball game. Decatur would miss the extra point, but since then, it's been the green machine right here, and the final seconds will indeed tick off the clock. And that is it. The Buford Wolves with a 28-6 halftime lead over Decatur. And let's go ahead and throw it on down to David Zelski, who's standing by with Coach Dexter Wood.
All right, Coach Wood, there's a lot of options. Everybody was expecting Darius, but you showed that there's a lot more talent on this team so far.
Well, we are. We've got a lot of playmakers, and I'm real proud of what we've done. You know, we particularly defensively, other than one big play, we've contained them pretty good. But on offense, you know, it's been different people, and we've got them a little bit off balance. And I just think we're playing well up front right now. Line of scrimmage is always the tone of the game for us, and I think we're playing well up there. And you're right, they're keying on Darius a little, but we got some other people making plays. They've been a great comeback team, though, all year long. They were down 21-6 last week and won, and we know that. And we've prepared to play 4 quarters.
All right, yeah, like you were saying, this is not the kind of team that you want to keep hanging around. You spread the lead open a little bit. What's your plan for the second half?
Well, they're so explosive. They can score on any given play, so we've got to realize that. And, just be sound. Our philosophy is to keep playing hard and good things happen, and that's what I'll preach at halftime.
All right, thanks a lot. Back up to you guys.
All right, Coach Dexter Wood's Buford Wolves making a strong case for win number 44 in a row. We'll take a timeout. Again, Buford up 28-6 over Decatur. We'll be right back with halftime action here at the Georgia Dome. You're watching state semifinals on GPTV. Up 28-6 over Decatur at halftime here at the Georgia Dome. Again, Dave Garner, Ryan Stewart with you. David Zelski on the sideline as we check out some halftime action here. And you can look at some fans that have filed in here to the Georgia Dome today. Some good crowds and a big first half for the Buford Wolves. They got on the board early. Decatur would come firing back. But from about middle of the first quarter on through the rest of the half, it was pretty much all about the Buford Wolves, Ryan.
Yeah, the Buford Wolves are doing a very good job of establishing the line of scrimmage with the offensive line as well as the defensive line, backing those guys up, making it very difficult to make some plays. And both teams are prepared to play, but Buford right now looks a little more polished.
All right, let's go ahead and throw it on down to the field. David Zelski standing by.
All right, thanks a lot. We're here with Gary Hopkins, the band director for Decatur. Unique list of songs. Tell me about this.
Well, our show is basically jazz-oriented. We've added one of our dance tunes in here to give the dancers a little more time, so we've got an extra dance tune in, so that's what's going on there with the show. A lot of Spanish jazz and stuff like that.
That sounds good, and they're sounding great. I hear they're entering contests as of late.
Yes, this was our first contest in many, many, many years this year. They placed third, did a really good job, and we're looking forward to maybe winning some next year.
All right, well, thanks a lot. They sound great.
Thank you.
Back to you, Dave.
The Decatur High School World Traveling Band, 100 members strong. Let's go ahead and listen in. 6, our halftime score. What a job by that Decatur High World Traveling Band. We'll take a timeout and be right back with more halftime action from the Georgia Dome right after this. Dave Garner back here with you at the Georgia Dome. Time now for the Buford High School Marching Band of Wolves to perform against 68 members strong. And the selection title this year is Space-tacular. So sit back, relax, and watch the Marching Band of Wolves of Buford High School. band of Wolves from Buford High. David Zelski's on the sideline with a visitor. David.
Yes, this is Wallace Conrad, band director for Buford. I guess if there ever were veterans of the Dome, it would be this band of Wolves, right?
Yes, my third year here and my third year at the Dome, and they've been here before too, so we're really enjoying it. Every year we look forward to it.
All right, well, this has got to be a fun thing for them to play. You know, all songs they know. How are the kids taking it?
They love the show. We try very much to get a show that both will be very good at competition and that the audience and our kids like a lot.
Well, I guess there's a little surprise at the end of the show. Tell us a little about what happens there.
Well, we try to do some things to hook the audience and keep them paying attention to it, even when they're going to get something to eat at halftime. So right now, just in a second, Elliot with E.T. will be coming around on a bicycle to finish out the show.
All right. And I guess you have some people that are a little bit younger in this band. Tell me about the diversity of this band.
Well, at Buford High School, since we're a small school system, we have 8th graders march as well. And this year we have 2 7th graders marching along with those 8th graders.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Back up to you guys.
All right, there you have it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some highlights from that first half. As we mentioned, a very big first half for the Buford Wolves. They actually got on the board first. A little reverse there going to Austin. They were taking around for the touchdown. They're going to look at the tail end of that play. Made a great move at the 13, and Austin was able to get in there, and it was 7-0 Buford. Decatur would come firing back, a 20-yard run by Johnny Hambrick. An excellent cutback himself there. They would miss the PAT, but Decatur within a point. And then after that, though, Buford really showing out here. Manley hooking up with Zach Smith for a 29-yard reception down to the 1. That would lead to a 1-yard touchdown run by Smith. And then later on, the Wolves getting it done in the air once again as Manley hooks up with Brandon Clark for a scoring strike. Clark with an excellent move around the 5 there, got into the end zone. And then Ryan Wood capped the first half scoring with a big reception again from Manley, got behind the secondary there. And Ryan Wood with the touchdown catch. And there you get a look at the stats at halftime. Again, 28-6 our score. Passing yards 138 for Buford to 63. Running yards 171 to 55. 209 yards in that first half. Decatur able to move the football with 118. Penalties, again, Buford the most penalized, 4 for 20 yards, 1 turnover apiece. And possession, time of possession, very big right now in favor of Buford. Again, 4 different players have scored touchdowns, and as we mentioned, Ryan, it's been more than just the Darius Walker show here in this first half.
I'm looking for a lot from Darius Walker in the second half, even though in the first half, Zach Smith was the guy getting more touches.
All right, well, that's it. Again, 28-6 our score at the half. Teams back on the field. We'll take a timeout and be right back with a third quarter kickoff from the Georgia Dome. Again, Buford and Decatur going at it right after this. There you get a look at the first half story. Again, Buford 28-6 over Decatur right here in the second AA semifinal. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to the field. David Zelski standing by with Coach Davenport.
All right, Coach. You know, things were looking well there at first. You're hanging in there. What's the plan for the second half?
Well, we're just going to play better the second half than we played the first. However the game turns out, we're vowing to play a better second half than the first. We're playing a proud Buford program. And they kind of hit us with a storm there at the end of the second half. But we're going to regroup and come out and play better in the second half.
All right, well, you got some size. You guys are a comeback team. If anyone can do it, it's the Decatur Bulldogs of this year. Tell me about that.
Well, we're going to do the best we can, and that's what we try to teach the kids since April. Just keep fighting for 4 quarters, and whenever the game ends, just be able to look yourself in the eye and say you did the best you can, and that's what we're going to do.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach, and good luck.
All right, again, David Zelski with Coach Davenport right there. And Ryan, getting ready for the kickoff right here. Again, Decatur, as they mentioned, as Coach just mentioned, as David just mentioned, if any team is capable of coming back, it is these Decatur Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that's something that Coach Davenport and his staff have done really well this season. They put together good second-time halves. If you can make second-half adjustments to kind of compensate for the mistakes you made in the first half, come out, not turn the ball over, not have interceptions and fumbles, make some better defensive stands, you put yourself right back in this ball game. And like Dave said downstairs, if anybody can do it, it's the Bulldogs.
Decatur will have the football first here to open up the half. They deferred the opening coin toss, so Buford will kick off here. Again, Buford took the football, and they have a 28-6 lead. We get a look at Patrick McGlon getting set to kick things off. And it's a high but short kick. Going to be taken by Fleming, number 10. Trying to bring it back across the other side of the field, and good special teams tackle right there by Mark Standridge.
A lot of special teams coaches call that high lob kick to allow the coverage team to get down and possibly make a play on the ball. And those up front guys, the fullbacks and such as number 10 for Decatur, Parker Fleming, they're not used to fielding those balls, and sometimes you can get a turnover like that.
So that offense will go back to work. Just over 100 yards total in that first half there. You get a look at Coach Dexter Wood on the sideline, as we mentioned, a product of the University of Alabama, Coach of the Year 3 times in the state of Georgia, well over 100 victories for his career. 9th season at Buford. First down and 10 right here. Ellis George looking to throw. Has a man out there. Great catch by Anton Mitchell. Breaks the tackle. 40, 30, he's gone. Anton Mitchell, touchdown. Unbelievable. 75 yards on the play for the Decatur Bulldogs. And how do you like that, Ryan? Wow.
Total opposite of how the offense started the game. They came out early in the game with 5 wides, threw an interception. Well, they come back out in the second half with 2 tight ends and 2 wides. Throw another pass play, but this time, Walker, a big-time player, makes a big-time play, breaks the tackle, and goes the distance for a touchdown. Nice start of the second half for Davenport as well as the Decatur Bulldogs.
Brian Simonson trying to add the PAT here. We talk about comebacks, and it didn't take long for the Bulldogs to strike. And that extra point is right through there. So Decatur has cut into that lead here a little bit, 28-13. And we've barely caught our breath here in this third quarter. There you can look at the man right there, Anton Mitchell. Had a big first half and made another big play.
Yeah, Mitchell did a very good job, and so did the quarterback here, Ellis George, sitting back in the pocket with some heat on him. Gets the ball to Mitchell, and Mitchell breaks 2 or 3 tackles, and he's got the speed and the stride to get down the sideline, and pay dirt, baby, touchdown.
You know, Buford had 3 or 4 green jerseys around that football as we take another look at it. See all the guys right here that are in the area to make the tackle. 1, 2, 3 right there.
And one guy on the outside, the defensive back, thought the play was already made, and he kind of relaxed, and you can never relax until you hear that whistle blow. It didn't blow until he got into the end zone.
Added 75 more yards to that offensive total here. Coming into the season, Decatur averaging 223 yards of just rushing a ball game. Buford averaging 268, so basically the two are in the same ballpark in that category. And you get a look at the fired up fans from Decatur. There's the drive. One play, 75 yards in just 18 seconds. And again, Mitchell on the receiving end of that pass from Ellis George.
Yeah, they're still down by 15 points, but that being said, momentum can change from big plays like that, and a 75-yarder is definitely what you need to change that momentum.
So Simonson set to boot it away. A low line drive going to be taken by Austin, who will actually let it bounce into the end zone. So the ball will come back out to the 20. You know, we talk about Buford and those back-to-back state championships. Of course, they're going for 3 in a row. 2 years ago, they were a single-A school, won a championship. Last year, of course, they jumped to AA and won a championship.
Won in the first year.
They're actually not the first school, though, in the state of Georgia to do that. Guess who it was?
Who?
Decatur. Believe it or not, 1949, they were Class A champions. The next year, 1950, they jumped to AA and won the championship. So a little piece of history here.
Thank you, Dave. I'm always down to learn, brother.
First and 10 from the 20. Ryan Wood in motion near side. And a little sweep right there. Walker with his first carry of the half and drives it forward for about 2 or 3.
It's funny how Buford continues to bring that slot over to bring the split in over to make slot wide down here at the bottom, and then they're going back to the tight end side. They see that man-to-man coverage. They're trying to get Walker isolated one-on-one with the safety or cornerback because he'll probably win those odds. But that's the same play that they run that reverse off of that's been successful twice already this ballgame.
Second down and 8 right here. Receivers left and right this time as you get a look at Walker. 17 rushes, 90 yards so far today. On track for another big game, and now a flag comes flying in here. Penalty going to be on Decatur.
Have illegal substitution on the white team. First down.
One of those 12 men in the huddle calls.
Second down.
That's been a very popular penalty for high school football. Officials really cracking down on that this year. Typically you see it with the offense. You don't see it so much with the defense there, but that 12-men call. You look at Coach Davenport. So second down and 3 after the penalty. Again, I formation. Zach Smith, the fullback, and they give this to Walker. 30, 35 still on his feet. and taken down by Corey Moon, number 75. Not before a big game.
Walker's a very skilled runner, reads his blocks extremely well. Little lead plays to the off tackle over there to the left side of the play. He breaks a couple of tackles and dances around a lot. Guys with the size of Walker and the vision of Walker, they're successful running backs in the college game, and that's exactly what Darius Walker is going to be, successful in the college game.
Buford's offensive line also doing a good job. White, the center. Lord, that left guard, has really had some big holes today. Owens, Brown, and Singleton also up front. Here's Zach Smith, who takes it up across the 40 on first down. He's going to have about 3 yards. Corey Moon in on another stop. Moon's another guy, too, that has done an excellent job up front for Decatur. And there you get a look at that Buford offensive line that we were just talking about. Big number 61, Wright, man, I tell you what, all those guys really getting in there. And I thought that was the key coming in today. A lot of folks, some of the coaches that have seen these two teams throughout the year, felt like that was going to be the matchup. Decatur's defensive front gets that Buford offensive line.
Right, definitely.
Second down at 7 right here. Receivers left and right once again. Clark in motion. And Walker straight ahead is hit, though. And we were just talking about Wright, number 61. He was one of the first guys there along with Jamal Gordon.
Jamal Gordon, very good linebacker, right under 200 tackles this season, 16 tackles for losses, and he's got 8 sacks. He's a guy that plays behind the line of scrimmage, and defensive coordinators love when you got a linebacker that reads plays extremely well and they can get across the line of scrimmage.
Let's listen to that last play here. Brian, pads are popping out there today.
You might think it's high school, but there's still big hits in high school football, babe.
Third down conversions. Buford 4 of 5, and another one right here. Third down and 5. Looking. Manley throws it out there. No one in the flat. Had a couple guys out there, but good coverage by the Bulldogs, so it will be 4th down, and Buford will have to punt the football.
Decatur gets the stand that they really need after a big one offensive drive play that resulted in a touchdown. The defense comes out and makes a stop against the Wolves offense that's very potent, and this is a way to start the second half. The adjustments were made at halftime by Coach Davenport.
Patrick McGlon boots it away. Good high punt.
Yes, nice
and
punt.
Terrence Bell calls for the fair catch, and now a late flag comes flying in at the 28. And things heating up out there.
A lot of football to be played. So what, you go in and you're down by a few scores. I mean, just as much as the first team scored to get the lead in the first half, you can do the same in the second.
Penalty on Decatur, going to back this thing up a little bit. So the Bulldogs will have to start a little bit deeper in their own territory.
Illegal contact in the back against the receiving team, 10-yard penalty.
You're going to look at Coach Davenport on the sideline trying to get that offense going. Well, Georgia Public Broadcasting would like to say a special thank you to our Murrow Society members. Again, GPB's Murrow Society are the elite contributors whose commitment to public broadcasting ensures that we can continue to provide quality radio and television programs to all Georgians. For more information about the Murrow Society at Georgia Public Broadcasting, just call 404-685-2581 in the Murrow Society. First down and 10 for that Decatur offense, and batted down right at the line, and that was a dangerous play right there. Thor Merrow's the guy that got a hand on that one, big number 33.
Defensive linemen are taught when that ball is thrown and you know the quarterback's about to release it, lift your arms up and jump and bat that ball down, and that's exactly what happened just now. It's a good play by Buford.
Get another look at it right here. George trying to fire it out there in the flat. And you get a look at Merrow, one guy that has certainly made some big plays all year long on defense. 6'1", 210, son of former Atlanta Falcon Jeff Merrow.
And he's coming back next year. He's just a junior.
So second down and 10 right here, I formation. And they give us to the fullback. That is Curry, number 25, the 5'10", 175-pounder right there. Doesn't have a lot of carries, only 26 carries on the season coming in, but again, lines up at fullback.
Fullback dive that never had a chance to get started because the defensive line for the Wolves pushed that O-line back.
You get a look at him. Big number 51, Tim Singleton right there in your frame. Those guys do play very big up front. Singleton, another guy getting it done there today. Ellis George, 3rd down and 12. Big play right here for that Bulldog offense. They've got to take care of the football inside their own 10. Twins left. I formation. Hambrick up the middle. Takes it out forward, momentum maybe to the 12, but that's about all, and it'll be 4th down and long, and that time the Bulldogs just trying to hit a quick hitter right up the middle, maybe trying to catch that Buford defense off.
Yeah, 3rd and long, a lot of teams think draw, a lot of teams think that lead, especially if they don't want to throw the ball and put their offense in a bad situation, so they decide to go with a little dive play, and they'll put the defense back on the field and hope to get the ball back.
Simonson set to boot it away inside his own end zone. Neil Brown on that last stop. 6'2", 255 pounds. Austin again back deep for the Wolves. Oh, dropped it on the ground. The ball is loose. Still rolling around down there. And I believe it was Decatur who recovered the football, but Buford's going to have it 1st and goal. And that's what we were talking about right there, Ryan. Buford, a team that just waits on you to make mistakes, and then they capitalize. And here it is right here.
Special teams are very important, and the punter, number 15, had the ball in his hands. He lost control of it before he could get a good kick on it, and the Wolves were right there to pick it up.
And that's just a tough break right there for the Bulldogs against Simonson. The 35-yard punt average this year. Has hit a 29-yard field goal, also handles the field goal duties, but right now it's the Buford Wolves offense trying to take advantage of it right here. 1st down and goal. High formation. Darius Walker into the end zone, touchdown. And with that TD, Walker ties Herschel Walker and Charles Grant as the most prolific single-season touchdown scorer in GHS history. Congratulations to Mr. Walker, Georgia's Gatorade High School Player of the Year.
And we've got 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter and a 4th quarter to go, so he could get the opportunity to get back in the zone again.
Patrick McGlon with the PAT, and with 7:02 left in the 3rd quarter, Buford has opened it back up 35-13. Let's go ahead and listen in to what Coach Dexter Wood had to say about that young man right there.
Darius Walker has immeasurable qualities. First of all, as a running back, the greatest gift of vision, size, breakaway speed. And here he is on the threshold of maybe breaking Herschel Walker's all-time record. And to be mentioned in that same breath kind of gives you an idea of how special a young man he is. But beyond that, he's a 4.0 grade point average student, great family background, great moral character, and just a tremendous leader in our school. And couldn't be happier for him and his family, and what it's done for our football program, and how he's done it as a part of a team concept has been an awesome accomplishment.
Darius Walker, a great one with that Buford football program, but he'll tell you himself the records and everything are great, but he is the ultimate team player. He is a guy, he's not worried about the records. He wants his teammates to get another championship ring.
And he's been very successful since he's been here with the Buford Wolves. Outstanding player, just like the coach just said, and an academic player as well.
Great job to get into the end zone there. That one nearly muffed there. Fleming with the fair catch on the short kickoff there. And Walker, as we mentioned, with over 50 Division 1A offers and with grades like that and the ability that he has, he's probably going to have his pick of just about anywhere. 4 trips in 4 years to the Dome for Darius Walker and those Buford seniors, and that's amazing. Their last loss, as we mentioned, the 2000 state championship against Commerce. They haven't lost since then. 43 in a row, looking for number 44 today.
Incredible.
They are indeed the Parkview, if you will, of AA. So Ellis George and the Decatur Bulldogs back at it. George looking deep down the field, had a man there momentarily. He was looking for Brandon Stevens, number 4. But the Wolves all over that one. Jakira Millsap, the safety back there.
Double coverage, or cover 2 actually, where you got a corner playing the outside and a safety getting over the top. Really nowhere for Ellis George to put that ball just now, but he threw it to the point where no one can pick it off.
Buford Wolves defense, as we mentioned, only allowing 6 points a ball game on average this year. They've outscored their opponents 547-74. 2nd down and 10. And this time the give is to Hambrick, and has met Neil Brown, number 64, and what a pop right there forward momentum. Hambrick still picks up a couple there, but a big shot on defense.
Big Neil Brown sheds his blocker with the quickness, gets behind the line and shuffles his feet. Makes a good stop on Johnny Hambrick.
It's going to be 3rd down and long right here. 3rd down and 9 upcoming for that Decatur offense. And still plenty of time left in this one. 6:26 left in the 3rd quarter. Still got a whole nother 4th quarter to play here. And as we mentioned, the Bulldogs not out of it by any means. As Coach said, they were down 21-6 against Early County in the quarterfinals just to come back and win that ball game 28-21. This team has a lot of heart, and they're not going to give up. Big play right here. Twins right. George again looking to throw, being pressured from behind. And what a grab by Anton Mitchell for a 1st down. Went right down that seam there and broke out. And man, oh man, another big catch from Mitchell. He's on fire.
Mitchell did a good job of shielding the defender with his body just now. Cornerback was in his hip pocket, which is where he needs to be, but Mitchell still has the concentration to keep his eyes on the ball and pull down the grab for the 1st down.
Williams with the pressure there right at the tail end of that play nearly got to George before he released that football, but it is a 1st down as you get a look at Mitchell. Split wide right. Ball just across the 45. George again looking to throw as a man crossing pattern. Threw it a little bit behind Brandon Stevens, the intended target, and he had some room in front of him and he was able to pull that down.
That's the play, the pass you want completed right there. If Stevens catches this ball right here, he's going to get a good shot to turn it up and go straight down the seam for a touchdown. No one's inside of him and no one's deeper than him right now at this point, but quarterback Ellis George threw it just a tad bit behind him.
We get a look at George. Number 5, who's had a big game, made some plays here, made some nice passes. And Decatur throwing the football deep today. Throwing that ball downfield. Man in motion, trips to the short side of the field. Trying to set up a little middle screen and nearly intercepted. Neil Brown batted it down and Merrow nearly had the pick right there. And boy, that'd have been 6 the other way.
Middle screen is a very hard play to develop, especially when you've got a skilled defensive line like the Wolves do. They get so much pressure that the quarterback doesn't have time to set his feet and get his time in as he's backpedaling to throw that ball to the middle screen. He's lucky this one wasn't picked off.
Ball knocked up in the air there, and you can see just
Good
beyond
effort.
the outstretched fingertips of Merrow.
Good effort. Just a little bit taller. I get it.
3rd down and 10 right here. Another big 3rd down for the Decatur Bulldogs. Lone back. And we may have had some movement up there. Looked like Merrow may have come across a little too quick for the Wolves.
Going to give them an easy 5. The Bulldogs just hadn't really been able to get in sync, get in stride with an offense. They're completing passes. Every now and then they'll get a good run, but there's no consistency to any of their drives that they've had so far.
Encroachment, green. 3rd down.
So that'll put the ball just into Buford territory. It makes this 3rd down a little bit nicer looking if you're that Decatur offense. A little bit more achievable right there. 3rd down and 5 instead of 3rd and 10. Changes the complexion maybe of the play call here a little bit. We saw Coach Wood on the sideline. Once again, single back. Twins left, receiver right. Buford in a 4-3. George again looking to throw, looking up top, now being pressured. Eludes a tackler, 45 still on his feet. He'll have the 1st down and a gutsy run right there by Ellis George, who takes it down to the 42. Neil Brown, Zach Smith combining for the stop there, but again, that's what we were talking about in that 1st half. George, the ability to make those plays.
And then George, what's really funny about this, Jamal Salim is right beside him. They're keeping the pitch option relationship down the field. This is a pass play, and these are high school players, but they've got their heads up in the knowledge of the game to realize that once I'm running, I'm going to stay behind you. If you get tight, you pitch it to me, and I'll take it a little bit further. That's a good heads-up play by the Bulldogs.
Good coaching right there, too. Good awareness. This guy's on the field. Jamal Salim again, that tight end. So 1st down and 10 after that big pickup by George. Once again, Ellis looking to throw, throws it long down the field, has a man complete at the 22. That is Salim, the tight end, but I believe, and they're going to call it a catch.
Yep. Brown can't cause a fumble.
Jakira Millsap, the safety, came up there to make the hit. Salim paid the price. He's still down on the field there, but he did make the grab.
He released right down the seam and put him one-on-one with the safety, and the corner did a very good job of coming down, getting low, and taking those legs out.
And watch this right here. That ball, watch the knee there. That ball It may have started to come loose before that, and he actually hit the grass. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough play for anybody to make right there. Go either way. And again, you still see Salim down on the field there. Took a good shot from that safety. Millsap, who's really a hard hitter and does a nice job not only on pass coverage but also on the on run support as well. Well, in today's earlier semifinal, a 44-yard touchdown run by running back Jeremy Marshall leads Hawkinsville to a 25-7 victory over Clinch County, earning a berth in the state championship against Lincoln County next week. And congratulations to Hawkinsville, 25-7 winners over Clinch County. Again, that earlier this morning in the Georgia Dome.
Game was very close at halftime, 6-0, and after the second half, the adjustments were made by Hawkinsville, and they came out with a very explosive offense and a very well-sound defense that didn't make any mistakes.
And you talk about adversity. I mean, those Class A teams, I mean, eating that pregame meal at 5:30 in the morning to play a 9 a.m. football game, that's, you know, kind of unnatural here. But those guys, I'll tell you what, to play in the state championship, those guys would probably play at 5:30 in the morning for that chance at that.
It's a big-time game, and all the teams that's a part of the semifinals here this afternoon, those guys had to come in prepared, ready to play, because if you continue to play and win, you move on. If not, you go home.
Jamal Salim up and off on his own power. Coming up against Spalding Jaguars and Peach County Trojans in the AAA semifinal. Again, a pair of 12-1 teams squaring off. Statesboro, boy, they've been here before, 10-2-1, taking on the Tucker Tigers at 12-1. Tucker finally make it to the Georgia Dome again. That later on to the Quad A game at 6. And then the nightcap, 9 p.m. It's the Valdosta Wildcats, who got here by beating Cherokee, and the West Side Macon Seminoles at 11-2. And that's going to be a very fun football game to watch right there in the 5A nightcap. First down and 10 for Decatur, and driving, that's Quincy Kelly trying to break a tackle and takes it just inside the 20. He'll have a couple over that right side.
Now Quincy Kelly's laying on the field a little slow to get up. After losing Salim, you don't want to lose anybody else.
Made a nice little move right there to spring it outside. Skipper and Zach Smith with the tackle there. And there you get a look at Quincy still down on this Georgia Dome turf.
Jamal Salim is second on the team in receiving right now, with averaging 20 yards a catch, 4 TDs. And Quincy Kelly is also an important part of this offense. He's the second leading rusher on this team. A little under 600 yards, but 2 very important pieces to this offense.
I'd certainly hate to miss him right here. Again, Kelly coming in there, especially backing up Hambrick at that running back. Both these teams have played some common opponents this year. Decatur and Buford have both played Wesleyan, Lumpkin County, and Blessed Trinity. And Steve Davenport, again, the head coach right there on the sideline. Let's listen into what he likes most about coaching.
I think I get an opportunity to be around kids. I have a tremendous affinity for dealing with young people, and coaching gives me that avenue. I owe a lot of credit to the people who have led to my development, coaches such as Coach Godfrey at Southwest Cab, and the lessons that I learned from him are some of the lessons that I try to put out for my kids. So I have an affinity for working with kids, and coaching gives me the avenue.
And you saw Blake Skipper right there with a big sack on Ellis George. Coach Davenport, as we mentioned, doing a great job. Came onto this program last spring. 13-0 in his first year, 4-year letterman at Georgia Tech. And again, as he mentioned, played for the legendary Coach Buck Godfrey at the Southwest Cab. Actually coached there as well and was a part of that state championship team.
He was the offensive coordinator for that state championship team. And Buck Godfrey is just a world-renowned guy when it comes to the state of Georgia. He's loved by everyone. He's done a heck of a job at Southwest Cab.
And the Bulldog program certainly has a bright future with Steve Davenport as the head coach. Third down at 14, play blown dead there. Looks like some folks jumped off sides.
I remember when Coach Davenport was the graduate assistant at Georgia Tech when I was there. I said, "You want to be a coach, man? You know how much time you got to put into this thing?" And he said, "Stu, I love it. You know, when it comes to football and working with kids, there's nothing I'd rather do."
Encroachment, green. Third down.
Penalty on Buford. To go 13-0 though, after a 4-6 season in 2002 that's remarkable.
That's big. Signs of a bright future for a young coach.
As we said, this is a team, and of course, kind of going off the last couple of years, they were picked, as we mentioned, to finish 5th in their own region at 5AA, and there's only 6 teams in the region.
Right.
So to do what they've done is just absolutely phenomenal. Hambrick right there off the sweep. Neil Brown with a big tackle right there. The Wolves turn that play back inside, and Hambrick just had no room. You talk about a good running back. I know we've been talking a lot about Darius Walker, but Johnny Hambrick is something else.
On the last play, the Wolves never got set up. They had their set of strength to the wrong side, so they kind of scrambled late to get set up the right way and kind of snapped the ball on the run and got behind the line of scrimmage rather quick.
Hambrick averaging, as you saw there, over 150 yards. A ball game on the ground there, and just remarkable numbers, over 3,000 career rushing yards for Hambrick. Only 5'7", 160, but he's only a junior, and he'll be back next year. 4th down and 12, and the Bulldogs are going for it. George being pressured, he'll go down. Merrow with the initial pressure, and big Neil Brown came in there to clean him up. And that Buford defense has really picked up the tempo here in the second half.
Yeah, you got some speed and some strength at the defensive line position, as well as linebackers that are blitzing with great speed and strength behind that strong defensive line. It's hard to get some plays off, especially if you're talking about 5- and 7-step drops versus the 3-step drops. It's very tough, and on the 4th and 12, why not bring the house like they did just now?
Here you go. 1st down and 10, now Buford will take back over. They're averaging 42 points a game on offense. That's phenomenal. Decatur only allowing 8. We talked about the numbers the other way there, but both teams very impressive on both sides of the ball. Manley going to hand off. That's Zach Smith with some good, tough running right up the gut. And he's going to have about 7 or 8 yards almost.
I got a newfound respect for Zach Smith. Not that I disrespected him coming into the ball game, but he's a guy that's taking that first shot, and guys are pulling on him, and he's keeping his legs moving, and he's spinning, just trying to get all the extra yards possible. A good hard-nosed football player.
And Buford trying to make it 3 state championships in a row. If they can hang on today, they will play Charlton County next week for a shot at their 3rd title. Charlton County looking pretty impressive, though, yesterday against Vidalia in the first of 2 AA semifinals. That time, short gain up the gut there. Walker driving towards that 1st down marker, going to be about a yard short. One of the new things this year in high school is the new overtime rule. Very interesting. They haven't really seen it much at the Dome here, but putting that ball on the 15 going to that college game certainly seems to have made it a little more exciting.
Right, yeah, made it a little more exciting, and it's not as easy, and you got to just keep on keeping on and keep on fighting in overtime if you get put in that situation. Leaning towards the college rules. They should do sudden death like the NFL does.
Yeah. 3rd down and short, and Walker will have the 1st down over the right side. Gain of about 3 yards there, and Walker continues to pile on the yardage here as time continues to tick away here in this 3rd quarter. Clock stopped at 42 seconds.
Clock stopped to get those chains set after a 1st down. We'll resume ticking once the chains are set as they are now.
One thing I've noticed in this football game is both teams doing a good job of blocking downfield. Those linemen, if they don't have anybody in front of them, they go on downfield. Right. You get a look at the total yards. 343 for Buford, 243 for Decatur. So Decatur still with a pretty good output here, but Buford really tacking it on in the second half. And there's Skipper, the fullback, who dives across the 45, and right now it's 3 and 4 yards and a cloud of dust, or a cloud of rubber, I guess, on this field down here.
The next turf.
There you go. But Buford really chopping away right now. But yeah, as we mentioned, both teams really blocking downfield, right, staying with those blocks, and that's a stat of a true champion right there. Final seconds off the clock here in this 3rd quarter, and it's Buford in control, 35-13. We'll be right back. $12 minutes left in this 2nd AA semifinal this weekend. Again, Buford 35-13 over Decatur. As we open up quarter number 4, some future Buford Wolves there.
With the green hair, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, green teeth too.
Yeah, but minus the hair there, though, I'm sure later on when they become those future football players.
Hopefully.
Yeah, nonetheless, Buford with the football, 2nd down and 6. Darius Walker with the call over the right side, still driving, and that's one thing that makes him so great is he keeps those legs moving.
He got spun around just now, but as they spun him so he was kind of facing backwards, he just started backpedaling to get more yards. I mean, look at that. Determined young player. Got 4 guys draped all over him, but that nonetheless stops him at all.
Looks like Jamal Salim is shaken up once again for Decatur. He's been banged up, has played with some pain today. Might even be a cramp.
In the fourth quarter, you got a significant lead, 35-13. I think it's safe to say you can look for a heavy dose of Mr. Walker for the rest of the fourth quarter.
Well, as we mentioned, coming into the playoffs, 4 touchdowns in round 1 against Blessed Trinity, 4 against Adairsville, and 4 against Cook. And there you get a look at Coach Dexter Wood. Let's go ahead and check in with him and see what he had to say about what he likes most about coaching.
Coaching to me is getting inside a kid's lives, finding out what makes them tick, finding out where that button is to help them reach their maximum potential, whether it's in their weight room accomplishments, how to block better, tackle better, but more so in how to grow as young men. The arena of football, family atmosphere is so important, the intangible aspect. And when a kid leaves our program, if he has a better sense of how to make better life decisions and choices and to reach his goal and potential, then I think we've been successful with them.
A lot of class right there in Dexter Wood, and you heard him. He's not worried about just developing football players. He wants to develop the total human being.
He wants to make these young men grow up to be good men in life, and that's what coaches are all about. I mean, you can touch a kid in so many ways when you're one-to-one with them and working with them. And football, I mean, if anything teaches the team concept and learning to work with others in a productive way, it's football.
Well, mark your calendar for Friday night, January 30th, for the return of Georgia's longest-running high school sports and academics program, Prep Sports Plus. You'll meet some of Georgia's most successful student athletes, athletic programs, and much more. That's Prep Sports Plus, returning on Friday, January 30th at 11 p.m. exclusively on GPTV. Jim Ginocchio, the host, does an excellent job. He'll be along with AAA action coming up here in a little while. Spalding and Peach County. And there's Walker. He's got some room. 40. Cuts outside. 35. And finally taken out of bounds. Clementa Bell into secondary, but Walker running loose.
Wide receivers did a very good job of closing off the left side of the line, blocking down, making sure no one can get outside. Walker uses his speed to get out there and does a couple of sugar steps, I like to call it, as he got to the outside before he got tackled.
See Walker, very explosive, rarely brought down by one person. Again, right around 5'11", 200 pounds is where they list him at. So first down and 10, ball at the Decatur 35. A little pitch right there. Walker trying to cut it back in. Took a pretty good shot there from Fleming, who came up, but Walker was able to bounce off of that tackler, and then Chaz Wright was there to clean him up.
Fleming gave him a good shot. Kelly got a shot on him, but we've already talked about it throughout the course of the entire ball game. He does not go down at first contact, unless you're bringing the house or you've got big number 61, he's going to keep running.
Hear the popping going on down there today. And by the time you get to this level, when you get to the Dome, you're here for a reason. You're physical, you've got it all. Speed, size. Second down and 5. And Zach Smith with a carry this time inside the 30. We'll have a couple. Andrew Kelly on the stop there. These numbers, Blessed Trinity. Walker, 11 carries, 172 yards.
Wow.
Against Adairsville in round 2, 13 carries, 132 yards. And then, of course, against Cook, 28 carries for 150 yards for Walker. So just an unbelievable performance by that young man all throughout the playoffs. And it looks like the officials making Antoine Mitchell go off the field there. I don't know if he's got an equipment issue or what. Basically told him he had to go off the field there, so.
That's not nice.
Get
off the field.
Little sweep right there. Walker again, number 7, drugged down nicely by Corey Moon, number 75. Moon's another guy that may have a future at the next level. He's looking at Miami right now, 6'4", 230-pounder. 23 tackles for loss this year, and he's got 2 interceptions. There's nothing like seeing those big guys rumble down the field after an interception. Those guys' eyes just get huge.
They're confused. They're out of their element. They don't know what to do. I'm not used to running with a football. What do I do here?
4th down and about 2. And Buford with their offense on the field. I formation, receivers left and right. And then a little freeze right there, and Manley going to call the timeout. They were just trying to make the Bulldogs jump offside there, but very disciplined up front. They wouldn't have it.
Good job. We used to call it in college, hold your water, hold your water. Don't jump off sides when you know they're trying to draw you off. And that's exactly what the Bulldogs did. They kept the composure and sat in there.
Buford with 2 timeouts left. Decatur with all 3. 9:03 to go in this matchup. Again, 35-13 as you get a look at the Wolves on the sideline there. And we're talking about common opponents. Decatur 28-14 over Wesleyan. Buford 43-3. You look down at Blessed Trinity, though. Decatur with a 51-point victory over those guys, and Buford only beat them by 50. So I know teams match up differently against each other, but kind of looking at what they've done this year, it's right there. Of course, yesterday's games, all kinds of things going on down at the Dome. Lincoln County with a thriller over Tryon with a heck of a comeback, but Lincoln County was able to close the deal there. And of course, in the first of 2 there, of course, Lincoln County with the win, and of course Hawkinsville the winner today. So Hawkinsville and Lincoln County will meet for the Single A championship next week, and that's going to be a good one. Talk about athletes. 4th down and 2. Wolves going for it anyway, and that play going to be blown dead as they gave it to Walker in a pretty good sized hole over there on the left side, but penalty markers down.
I just saw Jeremy Shockey and Michael Vick playing a little pickup football one-on-one down there.
Other games yesterday, of course you saw it right here on GPTV. Charlton County over Vidalia, 22-9.
Ball start, green, 4th down.
4th down still for Buford. LaGrange 20-17, a remarkable ball game right there. Washington County, the Golden Hawks made it close, but the Grangers #1 pretty much all year long with the win there. Of course, in the Aquatia game, Marist finally breaking that jinx, 35-21 over Thomas County Central. And of course, in the 5A nightcap, it was Camden County, a 10-point victory over Noonan. Noonan led a good bit of that first half, but Camden was able to come back. And all these teams advancing on to the championship. High punt right there, and it's going to go into the end zone for Patrick McGlawn. It's going to be fun, you know, all these teams going on to the championships next week. The rest of the championship picture will be filled out today. Of course, this is game 7 of 10 right here on GPTV. And as we mentioned, 24 live hours out of 39. 24 hours of coverage here. And
that's serious, though.
Oh, man.
That's serious. But someone needed to bring it to you, and GPTV said it's us.
Hardest working staff in show business.
There you go. There you go.
8:54 to go here. Ball going to be on the 20 for Decatur on offense.
They're going to need a couple of one-play drives if they want to get back in it, just like they started off the second half with.
Twins left. Uh-oh, ball on the ground by Hambrick, but he was able to get it back, and that could have been disastrous right there.
And that's just how the entire day has been for the Decatur Bulldogs. Fumbles and turnovers and penalties, and they do things good, but at the same time, they don't complete the entire drives, and they never really got something established this afternoon.
Both teams have pretty much taken care of the football for the most part. We haven't seen a lot of turnovers today. Decatur, of course, overcame 4 turnovers in round 2 against Darlington in that 14-13 victory. But for the most part, they have taken care of the football. Curry, the lone back, trips left. Ellis George looking to throw. Can't find anybody. Hit from behind and taken down. Number 19, Sean Williams with the hit.
Sean Williams got a good jump off the play, came around the end, and sad thing is Ellis George never even saw him coming, couldn't find a receiver down the field to throw the ball to on the trip side of the field. Held it a little bit too long, and Williams made a good play.
Buford looking for number 44 in a row today. 44 wins in a row today if they can close the door here in the final 7.5 minutes. That's just a remarkable streak to think that their last loss was the state championship game of 2000. Commerce, of course, winning it. Monte Williams, the running back for Commerce at the time there, and another penalty flag here. That was going to be on Buford. Jonathan Owens looked like coming across.
Encroachment, green. Third down.
You know, and of course, just a reminder too, championship games coming to GPTV next weekend. On Friday, it's the Quad A Championship, December 19th at 7:30. And then on Saturday, it's the 5A Thriller, 7:30. December 20th again right here on GPTV. So the action continues next week. And again, Buford offsides here. And tell you what, Ellis George going with that hard count, and Buford maybe a little over aggressive on defense right here.
Those guys are ready to make contact. Can't hold the water.
The officials with a little bit of a pattern right here. They're used to that call.
Green. Third down.
You want to go out strong right here, particularly if you're Buford, because you got more than likely another football game to play next week, and you want to come off of something with some momentum.
Right.
Because I tell you what, Charlton County, they're not going to be afraid of you.
No.
I mean, we saw yesterday that is a team that'll jump right up and hit you in the mouth, I guess. And they've got the speed, they've got the talent to do it, to play with a team like Buford. But the Wolves, very focused. That'll be a fun one. So now after the penalty, it's 3rd down and 2. Hambrick with the carry, left side trying to turn the corner. He won't get there, and a good job by Mark Standridge, number 23, who strung that play out. Another flag comes flying in.
Whenever that yellow hanky comes out behind the line of scrimmage, more times than not, it's going to be a holding penalty, especially on a toss play like that.
So things slowing down a little bit here late in the game.
Well, I'm glad, because I don't want it to be over either. Let's just stay here all day.
Holden against White. Decline. 4th down.
So Buford will decline the penalty. They want the down. It'll be 4th down. And Decatur will trot the punt unit onto the field here. Of course, the second AA semifinal right here at the Dome this weekend. Of course, coming up, as we mentioned, AAA action, Spalding and Peach County, and that's going to be fun. Clock winding down close to the 6-minute mark. Again, Buford up 35-13. Simonson to boot it away. Nice punt, and no one back for Buford. They had their defense on the field, not trusting that Bulldog offense would indeed punt the football away, but indeed they did. And a good punt that'll roll inside the 20. So Buford backed up here, but just under 6 minutes left on the clock here, and the Wolves can feel it.
Coach Davenport can keep his head up. He's got a very young team here, 10 or 11 seniors, so a lot of players coming back, knowing the system a little bit better, going into a second year. You can look for a lot of good things from this Decatur Bulldog team.
That was a 54-yard punt for Simonson. His average right around 35.
That helps.
That'll up it a little bit.
All right.
1st and 10, Wolves offense takes back over. Manley going to hand it off to the fullback, and that's Zach Smith, in the senior, who's certainly been the workhorse today. I mean, Walker has certainly gotten his carries, but Smith has been the guy that has really opened things up. And you know, he's also a good blocking fullback, of course, with that good tailback, but he makes the most of all his carries too.
Opened up a lot of holes for his tailback and Darius Walker. Established a good running game himself from the fullback position, and he also protected his passer by blocking and released out to catch a few passes in this ball game. Well-rounded game for Zach Smith.
2nd down and 6. Receivers left and right. Decatur with 5 up there on the line to give his to Walker. And he is ridden down by Corey Moon, but not before a pretty good chunk on 2nd down there to bring up 3rd and short. You can look at some of the Bulldogs there on the sideline. Justin Brown, number 55, number 80. And you can look at that Moon there in pursuit. And those defensive linemen, for as big as those guys, look at the size up front. Those guys have enough agility to drop back, to get back down the field and make tackles. Sweep right here. Walker trying to turn it once again. And on 3rd and short, Buford has the first down. Andrew Kelly with the tackle.
I think Walker had the awareness just now to realize he had the first down and did not go out of bounds. Fell down and keeps the clock running. Yeah, he took a dive just now.
You know, as David Zelski told us a little while ago, and as you get a look at Walker's numbers, 27 rushes, 147 yards, over 5-yard average and a touchdown. But really, you know, as David alluded to, I mean, talking to Coach Wood, I mean, this is a team that's gotten it done in other areas today, has really showcased all their talent. They've done more in the air with their receivers and spread the football around than anything. Skipper, fullback, maybe a yard or two up to the 35 there. And you get a look again at those Bulldogs on the sideline there.
Until you showed me the stat just now, Dave, I would have never guessed that Walker touched the ball 27 times today.
That doesn't seem like
it does not seem like he had that many carries.
Well, right before that, I was going to say that they've done more in the air than they've done really on the ground all day long, and that some of the other guys have spread it out there. They've thrown the ball for a couple of touchdowns. Kyle Manley stepped up big, but Walker's quietly gotten his yardage. It's kind of been the story all year long. Walker again making that first man miss and punches it up across the 35 there, so it'll be 3rd down about 5. Andrew Kelly with another stop on defense. I'll tell you what, he's been all over the field today, number 6.
Yeah, he's worked real hard. Done a very good job.
It's been fun watching big number 61 out there too, Wright. Chaz Wright, man, he is getting a good push up field. But those backs are so quick.
Yeah.
They're running by that line before he can get a hand on him. Walker on the run there, makes a nice move, stays on his feet up across the 45, and Walker just chipping away right here. He's got a first down.
Just keeps his feet moving, and you're not going to leg tackle this guy or try to leg rip him because his legs are too strong. He just steps over it and keeps on going. Runs like he's in a pinball machine, bouncing off of everyone. Talented runner.
And you know, he wants one more touchdown. He wants to do it right here in the Dome to take that scoring record away. He's tied, of course, Herschel Walker and Charles Grant for single season touchdowns. We'd love to have one more here.
You know what?
Smith.
I'm gonna be selfish. I want him to get it also. I didn't see Herschel get it. I didn't see Herschel accomplish that feat. Right. If I get the opportunity to see Mr. Walker get it, I want to see him do it. Come on, Coach, give him the ball.
Herschel did it back in 1979.
I was 6 years old.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I was 6 years old.
Charles Grant, though, most recently back in 97. Right there as well with those 44 touchdowns. We saw, of course, Jeremy Privet, the quarterback from Charlton County yesterday. He's the all-time leading yards passer in the state of Georgia. And Walker, of course, right there with the touchdowns, gets the carry to midfield.
Another good hit by Andrew Kelly.
Under 2 minutes left, 35-13, and it looks like Buford will indeed advance on next week in state championship against Charlton County, and going to be a very big football game. And talking about that one a little bit, again, Charlton has the athletes. Of course, that's where the Bailey boys are from. And Justin Williams, the wideout, is the first cousin of Champ and Boss Bailey. And Williams had a big game yesterday, along with Tristan Bridges. And that offense, 5 wide receivers, they emptied the backfield for most of the game. That was fun to watch. Buford, though, likes to keep the football on the ground, and Walker right here driving, keeps on going, getting lost in a crowd there, and takes it all the way down to the 35. Clementa Bell and Terrence Bell combining for the stop there, but that time Walker just got lost in the crowd and was able to tiptoe right on down there.
And he carried a few people while he was tiptoeing. He's had a real good day. Looking forward to next week, I'm sure. Toss play into the boundary. And more so than Walker, his blockers just continue to stand around and try to find some people to knock back.
Again, Buford, and there you get a look at Walker coming out of the game here now with under a minute left. Darius Walker will have to save it for next week's state championship. And the give, right there to the 20, to the 10-5, and touchdown for Mark Standridge. Into the game now, penalty flags come flying in at the 12. 36-yard run for Standridge, who had a blocked punt return for a touchdown in round 1 against Blessed Trinity. And a big run right here.
I wonder if Darius is saying, if I could have got one more carry, I would have saw that hole. That's me. That could have been my touchdown.
Well, Decatur probably saw that he was out of the game and maybe relaxed a little bit.
You better believe it.
You can't do that.
Didn't put 8 people in the box. Probably had a 6 or 7 man stack in there.
White team. Penalty to be administered on the kickoff.
Penalty on the kickoff there. So we're awaiting the extra point here now. Patrick McGlon, the place kicker. McGlon hit a 45-yard field goal earlier this year, and that's a school record. 59 of 66 on point after attempts this year.
The face mask penalty penalized from the succeeding spot on the extra point.
There's a face mask.
It's declined.
Penalty in there, decline.
Okay, there we go.
And now we're set. Snap, and the kick is up, and it's right through there. So McGlon adds the PAT there in Buford, 42-13 with just 37 seconds left. And I think it's safe to say now that the Wolves are indeed heading on to play for their 4th straight state championship appearance, but their 3rd straight title.
Good job today by Coach Dexter Wood and the Wolves. They came ready to play. They played mistake-free football, assignment-free football.
Hey, Mama. Hey, Dad. Hey, Granny. Yep, and everybody. What's up, y'all? Number 1. Man, Josh right here. DC. Number 1, baby. Remember that. Number 1. We're back at home for the championship.
The Buford Wolves indeed ranked number 1 throughout the entire season, and why not? 44 consecutive wins after today, and you saw it right there, Darius Walker. But as we mentioned, you know, I know we've talked a lot about Walker, but he is an ultimate team player, and he always credits his
just like
teammates.
just now when the camera was on him, he said his number 1 shot, said, my man right here.
Exactly.
You know, take the light off of me and let's put some of it on my teammates. That's a good job.
Well, you talk about the list of coaches that have visited him. I mean, you've had Rich Brooks from Kentucky, Ty Willingham of Notre Dame. All those coaches have stood outside Dexter Wood's office trying to meet Darius Walker. He's got a lot of folks after him, as we mentioned, over 50 Division 1A schools. And Parker Fleming with the fair catch on the kickoff there. So it's going to be interesting. I guess that's the only question, is where now will he end up?
Tired now.
Tired.
I bet you are, Mr. Walker. When I came out, Georgia Tech won the national championship in '90, so I had a lot of schools wanting me to come there as well. And I said, well, I figured if Tech won the national championship in '90, they'll probably be someplace in around the top 10 for the next few years. Oh, boy, was I wrong. As soon as I got there, they went straight to the tub.
Oh, man.
1-10 season, but, you know, hopefully Walker makes the right decision and goes to a team where he can showcase his ability.
Ross Curry on the carry. Taken down by Travis Graham, and this is probably the last play of the game coming up right here as you get a look at Curry, who's also had a few carries today. Once again, want to credit this GPTV television crew that's still got a long day ahead of 3 more games here tonight, but I want to say hi to all these folks hanging in here, all the camera folks. Tom Vardays, Doug First doing an excellent job, along with all the people in the truck there. Certainly want to say hi to those guys.
My first time working with this crew. I really enjoyed it. You guys did a great job, and best of luck for the rest of the afternoon.
That's it. Final seconds off the board as you saw Coach Steve Davenport. And the season will come to an end for Decatur, but not before going 13-1, and just a remarkable job by the Bulldogs this year. Hats off to those guys, a wonderful season. But it is Buford who advances with a 42-13 victory, and they will play for the state championship next week. We'll take a timeout and be right back to wrap things up for Double A action right after this. Buford a winner 42-13 over Decatur. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to David Zelsky, standing by with the victorious Coach Wood.
All right, Coach Wood. Darius got his record-tying touchdown. Your son caught a touchdown pass. Could this have been any sweeter?
Well, the big thing is Buford's 14-0 and able to play in its 4th straight state championship game. That's the biggest factor. The fact that those guys played well as a whole bunch of other people makes it even more satisfying. But, you know, the old cliche, it was a team effort. We played a tremendous first half, and it seemed like we just kind of held on the second half. But I'm really, really proud of this football team.
All right, well, is your defensive backfield ready for this Charlton passing game?
I don't know. I'm going to enjoy this a few more minutes, and then maybe on the bus ride home I'll start sweating those bullets about that because no one else has, and I don't know if we can or not. But you know what? We're going to be there to try.
All right. Well, tell me about, you had that brief scare right at the top of the third quarter. Did that just pump your guys up saying, we got to end this now?
Well, we were there to make a play, and their guy, kind of bounced off and made a play himself, and we knew they had home run type players, and that was one of theirs, and they made another one in the first half. But, between those big plays, I thought our defense, particularly against their run game, was awesome today.
All right, Coach, I know you want to go celebrate with your team, so have fun. Congratulations. Back up to you.
All right, Buford and Charlton County for the AA State Championship next week. That's it for our crew. For David Zelski and for Ryan Stewart, I'm Dave Garner. So long, everybody. Buford, a winner today over Decatur.
This broadcast of the 2003 GHSA football semifinals has been provided in part by Georgia's Electric Membership Corporations, IBEW Local 613, South Trust Bank, Kroger, your Dodge Dealers of Georgia, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and by State Farm.